Good evening from Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. I'm Christian C. Wannabe. We're doing a special edition Thursday night football. We did Thanksgiving football a couple weeks ago with the Lions and the Packers. We're going to do a special edition tonight with the Buccaneers and the Falcons. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Atlanta Falcons, are going to be playing on Thursday night football. The Buccaneers absolutely need a victory tonight to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Carolina Panthers are tied with them at 7-6. There's a lot to be played for tonight here on Thursday Night Football. Falcons are playing for pride. Still played pretty competitive the last couple of weeks. It'll be interesting to see how this one goes. But Panthers and Buccaneers both 2-1 in the division, and of course, again 7-6. They'll be kicking off and playing just in about a couple of seconds here. And thank you so much for joining us from Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world tonight. Also, additionally, at 8 p.m. tonight, our weekly college football segment is going to be part of this week's NFL Live. Quite exciting. Lane Fobbs of Bearcat Bites will be here at 8 p.m. We're going to be talking college football playoff first-round games, some of the other bowl games as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thursday night football, Falcons and Buccaneers right about to start and kick off here. We'll be here in the background talking football, Las Vegas, and everything in between in the next 3 hours or so. The Buccaneers are getting the ball first here. The game is today in Tampa Bay, and the kickoff has happened. And the Buccaneers are going to start at about the 34-yard line. And thanks so much for being here. Of course, go over to the main channel, check out all of our regular stuff. We just put up an interview with actress Allison Arngrim of Little House on the Prairie fame. 1 hour, great discussion. Go check that one out as well. And they got a great big fan fest having in Simi Valley, California this week, and we talked about that and many other topics. But Lane will be here at around 8 o'clock. Thank you so much all for joining us today. Buccaneers are desperate for a victory tonight. Falcons are 4-9. Buccaneers are 7-6. 4 games left in the NFL season. Of course, we'll be back for our regular NFL Live reaction, 10 a.m. Las Vegas time on Sunday. But we're here for the next about 3 hours, and we're going to have some fun. And Buccaneers get a first down on a run play, one in the game. The Buccaneers know what's at stake this week, playing here on Thursday Night Football down in Tampa. This is a must-win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a must-win. Let us know your thoughts in the chat, of course, as always, and we'll be here all the way throughout. And thank you so much for being here this evening on this special edition of C1 Review, Las Vegas Thursday Night Football Edition. Buccaneers are coming out strong. Good screen pass by Baker Mayfield. 2 first downs on 2 plays. Again, I think it's obvious that the Buccaneers know what is at stake. What is at stake in this one? So, they got to get the victory. Carolina has the Saints on Sunday. They lost to them earlier this year, but a winnable game potentially, possibly for that. So, lot to be played for tonight. If you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that's for sure, keeping your playoff hopes alive. Incomplete pass there. It's going to be 2nd and 10 upcoming. Buccaneers are about at midfield. Thanks to everybody who's in the room already. We appreciate you. Got a 3rd down coming up. Big stop potential possibility for the Falcons here. Again, you want to be able to convert that first down. And if you're the Falcons, you want to get off the field. Your Falcons are pretty much playing for pride. Mathematically, they're still alive in the division, but they'd have to win every game, and they'd have to get a lot of help. So not a lot of possibilities for the Falcons, but this is it for them probably. Again, I don't see how 8-9 is going to win the division in the NFC South. You'd have to have a lot of losses. but that's basically where we are. Incomplete pass on third down. Again, the Falcons get off the field. The Buccaneers struggled 2 weeks ago to barely beat the Arizona Cardinals. They lost last week to the 2-win New Orleans Saints, and they start out not getting any points against the Atlanta Falcons on that first drive. Incomplete pass by Baker Mayfield. That'll send the punt unit out. The Buccaneers, for the third week in a row, are struggling with an under 500 team, a team that is not going to make the playoffs, and a team that's going to be in the top 10 of draft picks, the bottom 10 of the NFL. Buccaneers not playing well. Even if they're able to get to the playoffs, can't see them lasting very long the way that they're playing currently. Falcons will start their first drive at about the 2-yard line here in Tampa Bay, Florida. I'm Krishanek here in Las Vegas tonight. We're doing live reaction of the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Thursday Night Football. We're kicking off the week early. Hello, Damien. Good evening. Are you a Falcons or are you a Buccaneers fan? Thanks for much for joining us tonight. Thanks so much, sir. Oh, I see you're under your different name. It's another Thursday night. Usual stuff. Yeah, I know. They were lucky to beat the Baltimore Ravens last week, though. They were absolutely lucky to beat the Ravens last week. But they won. I didn't think they would end up winning. So, thanks for joining as always. PokerChipper.com for more information on casino collectibles, poker chips, and all that good stuff. Las Vegas history. Danny's in the room, Mr. Head of PokerChipper.com. But you got to understand something in this regards. The Ravens were playing well for the last 5 or 6 weeks. Steelers may actually make the playoffs now, but they still got to play in Week 18. And if they're one game apart, depending on what the scenario and the situation is, the Steelers may still have to win that game. So it'll all depend on all the tiebreaker scenarios for the AFC North, obviously. But good win by the Steelers this week. They got to play the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football. Miami's won a couple of games in a row, Yeah. That could possibly be arranged. But the reality of what it comes down to at the end of the day is that for anybody who's reading the chat tonight, the man chatting is probably the greatest high roller in Mandalay Bay history here in Las Vegas. Of course, the Mandalay Bay is at the end of the strip. And with that being said, you literally fly into Las Vegas, you get off the airplane, and you're right there at Mandalay Bay and Luxor without any wait. They're the closest, they're the closest casinos at the end of the Las Vegas Strip, for sure. Yeah. Well, here's my response. Though they may be done, they still may make the playoffs is the whole point. But again, if they got Buffalo in the first round, that's going to be a tough game. That's for sure. Going to be an absolutely tough game. Yeah. Not so much. But the point be told is that, again, the NFL is week to week. Quarterbacks can get hurt. Lots of other things can happen. Much like every roll on the dice table or every flip of a card in Las Vegas, you just never know what the future may hold. And I think that's fair to say with the NFL this year. There's just been so much parity. I don't know what's going on in the NFC week to week. The AFC is kind of a little bit more easier to understand, but so. Good evening, Tom. The Buffalo Bills fan is here with the Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Thanks for joining the special edition of Thursday Night Football. So thanks for joining in. We appreciate you. Buccaneers are struggling early against another team with less than 5 wins, one of the bottom 10 of the NFL. Not very good, as we know, just not very good. So we'll see. But Buccaneers did not play very well last week against the Saints. They lost. They barely beat the Cardinals the week prior. Falcons just got a first down, by the way. They're deep in their own territory, inside about their own 15-yard line. But the Falcons just ran for another first down, for a first down here. So, yeah, they can't. The Buccaneers can't afford a loss. Reality of what it comes down to is the Panthers, 7-6. By the way, both are 2-1 in their division right now. So the tiebreaker, of course, at the end of the season is the AFC South record, right? So, Panthers win this weekend against the Saints, they'd be ahead if obviously the Buccaneers lost. Falcons throw a first down play at their own 30-yard line. Again, Falcons may be 4-9 on the NFL season, but they're still playing competitive football, at least. I can say that very much, at least. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, by the way, are wearing their old throwback uniforms. And again, you can be on any username you want, Danny. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, again, pokerchipper.com for more information on Las Vegas history, casino chips, and all that good stuff. But yes, I agree with you, Tom. The Buccaneers, they cannot afford another loss. They cannot afford another loss one bit. And the Falcons, they're going to just play their own football. They're going to play through the motions. They're going to do what they want to do, and because they got all the time in the world because they're going to the off season. They're going to the off season. It would be mathematically unbelievable for them to win the division. I think the math is still there, though it's not happening, obviously. But the point be told is that the Buccaneers, again, I think they're going to struggle. I think the Buccaneers are going to struggle in this game, and I think we're going to have a less than 7-point game. Falcons are playing for fun at this point, in my opinion. Run of about 3 or 4 yards for the Falcons. Got about 10 minutes left in the first quarter here. No score between Tampa Bay and Atlanta. And by the way, as I mentioned at the top, 8 o'clock tonight, Las Vegas time, our weekly college football segment is going to take place on this YouTube Live. Yes, absolutely. Lane Fobbs of Bearcat Bites will be here. At 8 o'clock, we'll be talking college football playoffs and some bowl games in between while the game goes on in the background. Falcons are going to get another first down. They're like just past midfield at the 48-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Atlanta Falcons, but there is a penalty flag on the flag. Probably going to be a holding call, I'm guessing. No flag, I guess. 1st and 10. So we're moving it along. Yeah, I mean, they're making it look easy again, as I told you. And it's just like, as I was saying at the top of the broadcast, even if the Bucs were able to make the playoffs, they're not going far. They're losing probably that first game. I mean, anyone who's playing the Bucs, give me the other team in the first round of the playoffs, the way that they're playing right now. Listen, Baker has played very well. He struggled as a Brown. He comes over here. He's got them to the playoffs a couple of times, He has got them to the playoffs a couple of times. But, again, this just doesn't look like that same Buccaneers team who walloped the Eagles a couple years ago in the first round of the playoffs. That was 2 years ago. This is not that same Tampa Bay Buccaneers team of 2 years ago. Falcons are going to have about a 3rd and 4 at the Tampa Bay 48-yard line. 8 minutes and 40 seconds left here in the first quarter. Yeah, here's my response to you in this regard. Eagles at home this year against the Buccaneers. Eagles haven't played well the last couple of weeks either. We know how the Eagles have been playing, so that hasn't been very good either. I mean, Buccaneers, Eagles, who wants them most in the first round, something like that. That's how I see that happening, right? That's how I see that happening. 3rd and 7 coming up. Let's see if what the Falcons can do here. 4 wins on the NFL season. You know, Danny, I have to give you credit. You know all the quarterbacks. We'll start there. That's no good. Listen, Philip Rivers is coming off the bench. What is Philip Rivers, 44 years old? He's going to play for the first time in 4 or 5 years, potentially, possibly for the Colts. That's what it's become, you know? I mean, I think Philip Rivers is 44, is he not? I mean, former Chargers quarterback who hasn't played football in the NFL. We know that the Colts are banged up. No Daniel Jones. They had one rookie quarterback on their roster, and Philip Rivers, who hasn't played in the NFL in 4 years, is now on the Colts squad. I mean, this is how dire the quarterback situation right now is in Indianapolis. You know, that's kind of the news of the week. You know, so I mean, I agree with you, but the point be told is that he hasn't played football in 4 years. It's a big difference. You know, I mean, that is coming off the bench after 4 years. You're going to have a lot of rust. And do you remember how to take a hit? I mean, seriously. And that body is going to be used to a different level of tolerance, I believe. So, I mean, that's just going to be some crazy stuff, you know. I mean, you know, it's a different kind of lifestyle getting used to those hits. Tampa Bay holds Atlanta on 4th down. Falcons are going to punt here. I think we're going to see, you know. Yeah, I mean, we looked at the end of Tom Brady's career, and I was just always like, you know, here's the thing. The last year that Tom was in the league for the Bucs, I was like, he already won that Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. Why is he still here getting hit? And he got sacked a bunch that last year, where they lost the Cowboys in the first round of the wild card round. And so that's kind of like where the whole point goes is that, you know, obviously, I guess, you know, 5 years or 4 years of not playing football, you know, Philip wants to get back in, and he thinks, hey, maybe, because he never won a Super Bowl. So that's the whole argument, right? So I got this team who's on the verge of possibly making the playoffs. I only have to play 4 games before the playoffs. This is a short contract, so why not, right? And I agree with you, Tom. I don't know if I'd play the Colts against the Seahawks. That's just, again, we already talked about this last week in great detail. You know, the Colts have a tough schedule the rest of the way. The Chargers have a tough schedule the rest of the way. You know, I just think that those two teams are probably, you know, the question is, can they get there? You know, the Chargers are very fortunate that they beat the Eagles on Monday Night Football because of the last 4 games they have remaining. The Chargers are very lucky. They probably have made their playoff possibilities more likely after that win, but those last 4 games are probably the toughest of any team in the NFL. So, you know, good luck to the Chargers on that front. Christian XC1 interview covering Las Vegas and the world. No score in the first quarter. Thursday Night Football. Atlanta Falcons are playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The NFC South is in the balance. If the Buccaneers win, they'll at least be in first place for another week. If they lose and Carolina wins on Sunday, then the Carolina Panthers, to me, the greatest story in the NFL this year, would be in first place in the NFC South. That's where we are right now. Of course, again, 8 o'clock, we'll be talking live. We'll be bringing in Lane Bobs for college football, but we got 2.5 hours ahead of NFL discussion, Las Vegas, and everything else you want to talk about in the chat, as always. Well, you got some good names already. The Dudley Boys, Don Morocco, Sergeant Slaughter. Yeah, here's my response to you in this regard, Danny. What are those odds for? What are those odds for what team? The Steelers? Yeah, here's my response again. You know, I think it's going to be hard for the Steelers to make it in as a wild card team. I still believe that there probably will only be one team from the AFC North, and that'll be the team that ends up winning the division. I don't think that they're going to get two in. That's just my opinion. When you look at all these other teams who have better records overall, my opinion is that, again, I think it's either the Steelers or Ravens and not both. That would be my opinion on that. Listen, if the Miami Dolphins somehow are able to beat the Steelers on Monday Night Football, that'd be crazy, right? That would hurt the Steelers a lot. Dolphins making a little bit of a move at the end of the year here, looking a little bit better than last week, a couple weeks ago, but still 2 games out of the playoff picture. But they would need to win on Monday or there's no go. So we'll see. Well, the Packers, absolutely, for sure. I can say one thing about the Packers is that they're playing well, and they beat the Bears last week, and they could very well be the 1 seed. Again, I think that the Packers and the Rams are the teams to discuss here. First down for the Buccaneers, about the 50-yard line, 4 minutes and 50 seconds until the end of the first quarter. No score in Tampa Bay between the Falcons and the Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football. Christian XC1 review here in Las Vegas. We're talking everything NFL and Thursday Night Football at the same time. I think the Rams, though, honestly, to tell you the truth, if Green Bay went to Los Angeles and that was the NFC title game, give me Los Angeles. I think Los Angeles is just destroying teams right now. They destroyed the Cardinals last week on the road. Tough always to win a division road game, and they look great. Rams have looked really good this year. Win over the Seahawks, of course. Rams have to play the Lions this week, so we'll see if the Rams continue their continued dominance against the Lions this week. So I think the Rams, look like they could win the NFC. I think they're a step ahead of everybody else, truly. And the thing about Chicago, who lost to Green Bay again last week, is I still don't think that offense is great. So that's basically what it comes down to. The reality of what it comes down to at the end of the day is that I'm sorry, I can't get behind Aaron Rodgers. The problem with the Steelers winning the Super Bowl, and this is my opinion, the problem with the Steelers winning the Super Bowl is that Aaron Rodgers can get injured at any given moment. He could take one hit, and that's it. He's already missed some time already this year. So, you don't have a guaranteed healthy quarterback. And the problem with that is Mason Rudolph in the backfield. Sorry, the problem with the Steelers, again, is that you don't have consistency. And that's why I wouldn't do that. And by the way, even if Aaron Rodgers is playing, I don't like Aaron Rodgers against that Denver defense. Absolutely don't want Aaron Rodgers against that Denver defense. I also don't want Aaron Rodgers against that Buffalo Bills team on the road. That Bills team may have some issues at defense, but they can score a ton of points, and they can score them fast. So, no. No way, Jose. Sorry. Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas and the world. Thanks to the big crowd tonight. We're having a good time here talking NFL Thursday Night Football. No score in the Buccaneers and Falcons. Buccaneers are at midfield, 2nd and 9. First down pass to Mike Evans from Baker Mayfield. Buccaneers are about the, 44-yard line of Atlanta. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left here in the first quarter. No score. Tampa Bay, again, has struggled against New Orleans last week, Arizona 2 weeks ago, teams with less than 5 victories each. And with that being said, just not looking good lately. And the Falcons have 4 victories. And we'll see what the score is at the end of this one. But so far, Falcons have played pretty competitive ball and have already forced the Buccaneers to punt one time. We'll see what they can do on the second one. Baker Mayfield throws an incomplete pass inside the Falcons' 10-yard line. He was going downfield. 3 minutes and 1 second left in the first quarter here on this one. Yeah. So, sorry, that's just my opinion. What was I going to ask you, Tom? What was I going to ask you? Have to think about that one. How are your fantasy teams doing? That was my question. Baker Mayfield is sacked in the backfield, holding onto the football too long. It's going to be a 3rd and long coming up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. First down, long pass for the Buccaneers, but there's going to be a penalty flag on the play. I think this one's coming back. You're already in playoff mode, so what do you end like 1 week early or 2 weeks early? No penalty flag on the Falcons. It's going to be an automatic first down. Buccaneers will be close to scoring range of the red zone at least. Still, playoffs are running from week 15 to 18. Wow. So are there like 8 teams that make the playoffs? Touchdown, Tampa Bay. We're going to be at the 1-yard line. I think they're going to be at the 1-yard line. Let's see where they spot it. Touchdown, Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Atlanta Falcons. Jalen McMillan with the touchdown catch from Baker Mayfield. I think he passed the line and hit pay dirt there. I think that's a score. I mean, in the old days of the NFL, that would absolutely be a score. Good evening, Anonymous Villain. Thanks as always for being here. So there's only is there only one game for week 15 and everyone else gets buys? Is that how it works, or are there 2 games this week? Like, what's the playoff structure? Top two get a bye. Makes sense. Okay, fair enough. Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas and the world. We're in a commercial break. Thursday night football here in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, the most exciting city in the world, the place you want to be. Buccaneers are in a timeout, potentially, possibly with a touchdown on the board, looks like. Playing the Atlanta Falcons, the Buccaneers must win. They cannot afford a loss tonight against the 4-9 Atlanta Falcons if they want to be still in first place of the NFC South. Very key game here for the playoff structure. The Carolina Panthers, who are having a great year, are right on there, are right behind them. Same record, and it'll be interesting to see after this one ends where the Falcons are and where the Buccaneers are. But honestly, to tell you the truth, again, Falcons, are done for the year. They're just playing football for the fun of it. Falcons, on the other hand, again, just haven't looked very good the last couple of weeks, again, against the Arizona Cardinals and New Orleans Saints. They lost to a 2-win team last week. So can the Bucs find a way to stop the bleeding tonight? That's the big story of where we are, obviously. So review on the field says no touchdown. Buccaneers are at the 1-inch yard line. They better punch this in here. Incomplete pass. The rodeo, though, the national finals rodeo in Las Vegas, isn't it always historically been at the Thomas and Mack Center? I was reading a really good article this week on Michael Gaughan, who, of course, is the son of Jackie Gaughan, um, and the owner of South Point. He was talking about his love of the rodeo. And I couldn't believe it, but there's literally this thing sells out like every year. People come to watch the rodeo at the different hotels, if you can believe that, just to see the live broadcast from the stadium. I thought that was pretty incredible. But, this is the week of country music and all that great stuff, and cowboy hats and horses and all that good stuff. The rodeo's been going on from the 4th to the 13th this year, the National Finals Rodeo. And they are a welcomed guest to the entertainment capital of the world. Touchdown by the Buccaneers on a run. Makes it 6-0. The extra point is pending. It's up and it's good. 7-0 Tampa Bay with 90 seconds left in the first quarter. The game is down in Tampa Bay. Thursday night football. Live reaction from Las Vegas. Tampa Bay 7, Atlanta 0. Yeah, here's my response to you. If you're at the 1-inch yard line and you got 2 or 3 plays, how are you not running the football there? So, sometimes, again, we always talk about this, but it's about the basics sometimes. And sometimes football teams just get away from the basics so much, and then they wonder why, something doesn't work. But sometimes it's just really about, focusing on the basics. And if you can focus on those basics, you'll be in a good position. You'll be in a really good position. So, but that's what it really comes down to, is the basics. And a lot of them don't have the basics. So that's what happens sometimes. So they got smart, as you said, and they ran the football in, and it's 7-0 Buccaneers. Let's see if the Falcons can get any points on the board here on the other side. Are there any fullbacks left in the NFL after John Kuhn left years ago, obviously? Are there any fullbacks still in the NFL? I couldn't honestly, to tell you the truth, I couldn't name a fullback in the NFL if someone asked me. You know, are there any fullbacks left? Are there maybe like one or two fullbacks in the NFL? Maybe. And Tom, as always, thanks for being here, and thanks to everyone else for being here tonight. Your support is appreciated. Whether you're watching this live or in a recorded version, thank you so much. Every minute you watch helps us more than you can ever imagine. I'm going to look that up in a minute. Falcons with a long pass inside the Tampa Bay 38-yard line. So Tampa Bay is giving up a big pass play to the Atlanta Falcons offense, and Atlanta Falcons are in business here. At the end of the first quarter. Nice pass. Right in the middle of the field. Splits the defense there to get inside the 37-yard line. "35-yard line now for the Bucs, but there's a penalty flag on the play. Well, here's my response to you again. When you play the teams twice in the calendar year, there's less to be intimidated about because these guys know each other. And that's what it comes down to, These guys know each other. So why would we be surprised, that the Falcons are playing competitive? The Falcons, again, are not the worst team in the NFL by far. I think the Falcons could have at least 3 or 4 more victories, if they would have played a little bit differently this year. They shouldn't have lost the Jets, for example, a couple weeks ago. So, again, a couple of scores, a couple of plays, a couple of errors makes a difference between being a 4-win team and a 6 or 7-win team. So Falcons are going to end probably the first quarter at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 41-yard line. We are through one quarter. In Tampa Bay, it looks like. Don't think they're going to run another play. Yeah. We are through one quarter in Tampa Bay on Thursday Night Football here from Las Vegas in the entertainment capital of the world. I'm Christian for C1 Review covering Las Vegas and the world. 7-0 Tampa Bay over Atlanta after one quarter. The Browns are there too. I mean, the Browns just lost to the Titans. So Browns have got to be there. Titans have got to be there. The Raiders, I think the exciting thing for the Las Vegas Raiders is that they'll have an opportunity next year to draft a franchise quarterback if they want to. I hope they do. I hope the Raiders consider drafting a franchise quarterback. Unless you believe that you can trade that pick, get a pick mid-round, mid-first round, bottom first round, and still get that franchise quarterback and get someone else as well. But, again, I'm not a Mel Kiper. I'm not a draft expert. I don't look at this stuff on an ongoing basis, but I have no idea who the big quarterbacks that are going to be coming out this year are, Is Arch Manning around for another year, or is he going to the draft, for example? No. Here's my response. We're getting all of Oakland, Danny. The Las Vegas ballpark on the Tropicana is getting built. They say that the plan is evident, that it's going to be finished by 2028, that the Athletics will be from Sacramento to be here then. So yeah, I mean, listen, the reality of what it comes down to is that it's just such a different scenario now, right? It's like the gymnastics star Livy Dunn from LSU. Why would she ever have left a year early, or stopped doing gymnastics when she's getting all that NIL money, right? So um, the NIL money is enticing to a lot of these guys who don't know what their futures are going to be. And at the same time, it gives them an opportunity to improve their draft stock, so the south end of the strip is still one of the fun. It's still got a lot going on, a lot of fun places. It's a lot of fun culture over there, the south end of the strip. A lot of happening going on there. So well, I know that your casino host Danny has had you both at Mandalay Bay and at Cosmo. So, but you're a Mandalay Bay guy, I think, till the end of time. So. And back in the day, Mandalay Bay was one of the great places, as you know, for all the UFC fights and all the boxing matches. So still got, of course, the Michael Jackson One show there, and a bunch of other things are always going on. So the great thing about Cosmo is it's at the center of the Las Vegas Strip. Next to the Bellagio and Caesar's Palace and all that stuff. So I like that. Paris is across the street. To me, that's like the sweet spot. I mean, I love all the different Las Vegas Strip resorts. They all have something positive to say about themselves, but so I like the chandelier in Cosmo. I was at the Barbershop Cuts and Cocktails earlier this year. We were covering one of their anniversary events, and it's a fun place. It's I like the Cosmo. I've been there for a couple things over the years. I like going there. It just feels like it just doesn't. The thing about the Cosmo, like a lot of the Las Vegas resorts, is you feel like you're somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? You know that you're somewhere else. Sometimes you don't feel like you're in Las Vegas, so I like that. 1st and 10 for the Atlanta Falcons. They're at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 25-yard line. Penalty flag. Listen, the North End has got a lot to work on, I think. There's a lot of positive things to say about the North End, but I'd like to see another resort. I'd like to see a shopping plaza. I'd like to see a bunch more going on down that direction, obviously. So. Well, listen, all those concerns can be obviously mentioned to your casino host, which can then send them to the top, right? Millions are still coming to Las Vegas every year and monthly. Penalty flag on the field. There's going to be a holding call on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. That's going to make an automatic first down for the Falcons. Falcons got a chance to tie this one up here. 13 minutes of the half, 7-0. Tampa Bay over Atlanta. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10 for Kirk Cousins. They need to get you like a plaque that says like biggest fan of Mandalay Bay. Like your middle name should be, Danny Mandalay Bay M. That should be like your new name. That should absolutely be your new name. There's just no denying how much you love Mandalay Bay. You know, field goal attempt is made by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 7-3. Atlanta gets on the board with a field goal, but there's a penalty flag, and it's on Tampa Bay. So, yeah, dumb call, dumb play, as Tom would say. Here's what I'm going to tell you, Tom. I think that there is a niche market audience for everything today, and there are niche channels and all these kinds of things in this regard. So I'm not surprised that the National Finals Rodeo is still on television because, again, the equestrian market, the horse market is a huge market of people. And I think because, you got to think about the center of the country where a lot of this stuff happens, like, Oklahoma and Texas, of course, and I think, the reality is in a country of 300 plus million people, you got a couple million people who are interested in something like, take, for example, like how many pro wrestling fans are there in America today? Like 10 million, maybe? Tampa Bay is going to give up that touchdown after that dumb penalty, we'd call it, on the defensive one. Kyle Pitts, former University of Florida tight end with a touchdown. 7-6 now, Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Again, looks like it's going to be a close and competitive game tonight here in Tampa Bay. Yeah, CBS Sports Network seems like the perfect network for something like that. They broadcast a lot of the other kinds of sports, or as I like to call them, alternative sports, meaning not the big four: football, basketball, baseball, hockey. They tend to broadcast a lot of the other sports that aren't the major four. So yeah, I agree with you. A place like CBS makes a lot of sense. 7-7 Atlanta. Falcons get on the board with a touchdown. Thursday Night Football, 12 minutes and 11 seconds left till halftime. Tampa Bay 7, Atlanta 7. So yeah, I mean, Kyle Pitts, I remember when he was at the University of Florida and he was just chucking numbers. He was like he was just, it's got to be one of the most dominant tight ends in college football in the last 10 years. I'd put him in the top 5. He was just so great when he was at the University of Florida. And yep, imagine if he was on a team like the Green Bay Packers or the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Buffalo Bills, for example, correct? Or even the Eagles, how much better he would be doing, correct? Or even the Buccaneers, who need some help, it seems like, at the wide receiving corps. So I agree with you 100% in that regard. Absolutely. Christian C1 interview. We're here from Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. We're 12 minutes till halftime of Thursday Night Football. It's Tampa Bay 7 and Atlanta 7. Kyle Pitts just scored a touchdown, the Atlanta Falcons tight end. James McMillan has got the touchdown for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 7-7 again. Tampa Bay cannot afford to lose tonight. They cannot afford to lose tonight. They lose tonight, they open the door for the Carolina Panthers to take first in the NFC South. Thank you so much for everyone who's here from across the United States and the world tonight here in Las Vegas, covering CY Interview in the world. We do here at CY Interview, covering Las Vegas and the world. Thank you so much for being here. We're having fun on a special edition of NFL Live Thursday Night Football style. We decided to do this tonight, and thank you so much, all of you, for being here this evening. Is it still going to be a mystery opponent? And if it is a mystery opponent, Tom, I'll tell you who I think it's going to be. Tampa Bay's got to find something on this drive. They're just not playing well. They just haven't played well the last few weeks. 7-7, Tampa Bay and Atlanta here. It's 12 minutes to the half. After a unfortunate penalty, which you don't want to give up, the Falcons are struggling. The Buccaneers are struggling. Excuse me, the Buccaneers are struggling. Probably Randy Orton, no? I mean, they've been kind of building to that moment since the day after WrestleMania where Orton RKO'd him. So if it's not Orton, then my question is, what was the whole point of doing that storyline? Unless the WWE is thinking more short term than long term. Anything short of that or The Rock or Austin coming back for a match, my response to you is that, what would be the point? You get my drift? Again, unless they're trying to push somebody for the future, and he's going to let them go over, the point be told is that it's just kind of like, yeah. 2nd and 1 for the Buccaneers, a 9-yard gain on the first one. Baker's back in the backfield here, and he's going to get sacked. And the offensive line is not doing a good job for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but we're going to have a face mask penalty here. We'll see in a minute. Yep. Automatic first down on that one. So move the chains and move the ball for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who will get bailed out. Yeah. Okay. I get that, but who else do they have? I mean, isn't it going to be a major name, or is it going to be somebody that they're pushing from the NXT generation? That's what I'm asking you in this regard. Like, what's the strategy here? 1st and 10, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 11 minutes to the half. Reverse for the Buccaneers here. We'll get them the first down. Nope, 5 yards away. 2nd and 5 coming up for the Buccaneers. 11 minutes to the half on that run. The thing about the Buccaneers offense, which I just don't like over the last couple of weeks, it just doesn't feel like there's any sense of speed and any sense of urgency. And that's why I don't like the Buccaneers in the playoffs if they end up getting there. I feel like they're just a one-and-done team at this point. And, well, there you go. Gunther, who lost his title at WrestleMania last year, right? Early this year, excuse me. Might be quite a good one. It's not the opponent I would be expecting for his last match, but I'm guessing he's going to put him over on the way out, no? To me, that would make the most sense because you give the company something for the future, right? Momentum. Just my opinion. Third and 8 here for the Buccaneers. Let's see. Nope, incomplete pass. Let's see if there's a penalty flag. There is not a penalty flag on the play. And again, as we've talked about already this whole evening in the Thursday Night Football, it just does not. Oh, there is a flag now. What's the flag? On the offense, won't matter. Penalties declined. Tampa Bay will be punting the football. Christianic C1 interview from the most exciting city of the world, Las Vegas. We are here tonight talking Thursday Night Football, NFL, Las Vegas, and everything else fun. Thanks so much for joining us, whether you're watching us in the live or you're watching us in the recorded version. Thank you so much for watching. Every minute is appreciated. Yeah, I mean, that would make sense again if you're putting somebody over for the future of the company, obviously. 9 minutes and 35 seconds to the half. Falcons and Buccaneers 7-7. Thursday Night Football. Again, a reminder at 8 o'clock Las Vegas time. Lane Fobbs, our weekly college football segment, is going to be here tonight on this YouTube Live. We'll be talking the college football playoff first round matchups, some of the bowl games as well. Be an interesting discussion as always. We'll be talking those tonight. And all that good stuff. Got a lot of good stuff for you. UNLV is going to the Frisco Bowl, and they'll be playing the Ohio Bobcats. UNLV looking for their 11th win of the season when they play the Ohio Bobcats in that bowl game. So we'll be talking about that. College football playoff first-round games. Got a lot to discuss with Lane, as always. Bearcat Bites on Twitter, X, BEARKET Bites. It's going to be here tonight on this live. So you'll be able to watch it in real time, and of course we'll take that video and put it up as a separate video on the main channel. Go over and watch the main channel. Allison Arkham, actress, Little House on the Prairies over there, 1 hour away. With a great discussion. Little House on the Prairie reboot coming to Netflix in early 2026. What's old is always here, and what's new again. You know, that's nostalgia, right? You know. The likes of The Rock and Hulk Hogan, may he rest in peace, and Ric Flair, the greats in pro wrestling. You know, what's old is new again. And that's what it is, you know. So, and but great discussion. People love what they love, and we'll have to see what happens on Saturday night. That's in Washington D.C. Is it not? Is it not, Tom? Including Philip Rivers, Tom. Even Philip Rivers is getting a reboot. Again, you haven't played in the NFL in 4 years, and you're playing again in the NFL in 4 years. That's crazy. That is just crazy. You know, I have to tell you, if Rivers gets on the field this week and the Colts aren't doing well after a couple of series, I'm going to just be like, you know, man, you know, be incredible to see what happens. So Atlanta with a good run on first down here, gets a pass midfield, but there's a penalty flag. I mean, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that the best quarterback on free agency is a guy who hasn't played in the league in 4 years, I would have been like, really? There's like not any guys in the Arena Football League, Canadian Football League, Indoor Football League, you know, there's no guys who played college football last year who, maybe didn't get drafted and they didn't make it through an NFL training camp. There's like nobody. There's literally nobody. There's literally nobody. Phillip Rivers is the best option available. I mean, that is just, it almost reminds me of, like the Kurt Warner situation, right? Like Kurt Warner was bagging groceries and then he ends up, where he ends up. I mean, that was a, pretty incredible situation. I mean, but it's just kind of crazy how this stuff works sometimes, right? I mean, the first question that should be asked at the press conference, when Rivers does his first press conference, if he hasn't done one yet, I don't know if he has yet with the Colts, but the question should be like, what have you been doing the last couple of months? A lot of golfing, a lot of barbecuing. Like, what have you been doing the last couple of months? Now you're on an NFL team again. Like, it's just crazy. It's like a NFL Madden reboot with, legendary historic players on a team today if you were playing NFL Madden on your video game system. 1st and 16 for the Atlanta Falcons. Nice run there of about 13 yards. We got about 2nd and 3 coming up. 8 minutes to the half here. Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas in the world. Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. We're here talking Thursday night football. That's live tonight in Tampa Bay. The Atlanta Falcons just got a first down. 7 minutes until the half. 7-7, Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Again, Tampa Bay at 7-6, who's tied with Carolina in first place in the NFC South, cannot afford a loss tonight. But Atlanta, again, Buccaneers struggled against the Cardinals. I think they have 3 wins. They struggled against the Saints last week. They lost the Saints. They have 3 wins. But Falcons have 4 wins at 4-9. Again, Buccaneers struggling against some of the bottom 10 in the NFL the last couple of weeks. Not looking great if they want to keep, of course, hoping and keeping those playoff hopes alive. Incomplete pass on 1st and 10. 2nd and 10 upcoming for the Atlanta Falcons. 7 minutes until the half. What a pass. That's going to be... They're conferring. Catch. Falcons get a nice pass down the field. 1st down and 10 for the Falcons. Yeah, here's my response to you in this regard. I don't know. The question be told is that do you like holding a clipboard more? You're probably never going to play, but then you're not taking any hits, right? I mean, you're collecting a paycheck to hold a clipboard on the field. I mean, if I'm Sam Ehlinger, maybe I think if I go there and it doesn't work out, it's a short-term situation, then I don't know that I'm on an NFL team next year. But maybe you think that you're still the 3rd string of the Broncos next year. So I get it if you're one of these journeyman quarterbacks, one of these guys who's not a starter in the league, and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I know I could probably play a few games, but what am I guaranteed after that? I mean, the point be told is then you lose your opportunity with the Broncos. So maybe he just thinks also that he has a potential possibility to be on a Super Bowl contending team and a playoff team, and so that's what's most important to him. Penalty flag on the field. Play stop before that. Oh, penalty on Atlanta, excuse me. Third and 15 for the Falcons. After that was not ruled a catch for a first down, excuse me. Good pass by the Falcons. At least they'll get it to midfield here. I don't know, Tom. 4th and 2, 4th and 3, 4 wins on the season, midfield. Go for it much? Maybe. Looks like they're going to go for it. At least they're going to try to get him offside. Oh, and there's an injury for the Bucs. Timeout coming up, 4th and 4. One of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers players is down. 6 minutes and 44 seconds of the half. Atlanta's got a chance here to think about whether they want to go for it on 4th and 4. I mean, if you're playing to win, punting is not bad here because the Buccaneers haven't been able to move the ball either. So if you want to play field position, I'd probably punt the football. That's my opinion. I'd probably punt the football. If you're really playing to win, I'd probably punt the football. But if you've got nothing to lose, yeah, you got nothing to lose. But again, coaches want to do what's right for them. The more victories they get, the less likely they are to be fired or have personnel changes and stuff like that. So it's a debatable question. It's a debatable question. Looks like the Falcons are going to do the safe thing here and punt the football because they're going to actually try to win the game. So. Touchback. Yeah, here's my response to you in this regard. In the little I've seen of Sam Ellinger in the NFL in his career, not impressed. Morris needs to win. Touchback. 6 minutes until the half. Tampa Bay 7, Atlanta 7. We're going to take a 2-minute break. I'll be right back while we're on commercial, and then we'll be back to it. We're almost to halftime here. This one's going along quickly. Okay, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see Tony Dungy, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach, in the building tonight at the Tampa Bay Atlanta Falcons game. Of course, Tony won a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts, beating the Chicago Bears many years ago. Buccaneers get the first down. Buccaneers really need to put something up before the half here. They just, again, it looks like that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are waiting for a better team to come along and just blow them out. They have not played well the last 3 weeks against the Cardinals, the Saints, who they lost to, and tonight the Falcons, who have 4 victories. 5 minutes to the half, 7-7. Atlanta playing every down competitive, not making it easy for Tampa Bay one bit, not giving up any big passing plays or run plays so far. Tampa Bay's pretty much been on a 10 or 20 yard stroll the whole night down the field. No long big breakouts or any big defensive issues yet for the Atlanta Falcons here. Only tied 7-7. Tampa Bay not looking, again, like they're in a form ready to go to the Super Bowl or ready to make a big run in the NFL playoffs. Again, just I've seen this now for 3 weeks, and it's basically not getting any better. So I don't know what it's taking. And speaking of that, finally a pass of about 25 to 30 yards for the Buccaneers, who are now inside the Atlanta territory of about the 42-yard line. Bucs, again, really need to find a way to get some points on the board here before the half. Find some momentum against a 4-9 Atlanta Falcons team. Christian XC1 interview. We're here live tonight from the most exciting city in the world, the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. Of course, we cover Las Vegas, the world, here at C1 Interview. We're doing a special edition of Thursday Night Football here, Falcons and Bucs tonight. We'll, of course, be back for the regular NFL Live on Sunday, 10 a.m., and the usual recap show, which will be a little earlier this coming week, I believe. Probably going to do that around 7 o'clock, maybe 5:30. Before the Sunday Night Football game this coming week. So we'll see. But going to have the 2 videos, as always, on Sunday. We look forward to seeing you, of course, for them. And thank you so much for being here on a special edition night. Again, in about 90 minutes, Lane Fobbs will be here to talk college football with us for our weekly segment, which will be tonight in a special edition on this YouTube Live as well. And again, whether you're watching live or in the recording, thank you so much for being here. Your support is greatly appreciated. 2nd and 9 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the 33-yard line of Atlanta. Incomplete pass. 3rd and 9 coming up for the Buccaneers here. Here's my response. I'm glad you're here. That's what counts. Third and 9 for the Bucs. Again, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line not giving Baker Mayfield enough time to do anything. 4th down and 4th and 8 coming up. I don't think the Steiner brothers are in the house, Tom. There was again, another example of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers field goal attempt coming up, but the offensive line not giving Baker Mayfield enough time there on that one. Long field goal attempt for the Bucs, 49 yards. That kick is going to be good. 10-7, Tampa Bay over Atlanta. Not the kind of fast offensive response that you'd want from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers so far. Again, a lot left to be desired. 10-7 right now, but again, you keep playing like this, just wait till you play a better team and then you get punched in the mouth before you even see it coming, because they're just not playing well. They are not playing well. They're not playing up to a caliber of a Super Bowl team. Can they make the playoffs? Maybe, but not playing great against the Falcons right now. 10-7, Tampa Bay, 2 minutes to the half. Let's see if Atlanta can do anything before the half here. We're going to have one play, then the 2-minute warning, of course. Tonight, Mike Evans, the great Buccaneers wide receiver, only 7 targets, 2 receptions, 24 yards. Falcons defense obviously doing a very good job tonight containing Mike Evans. So the Mayfield-Evans connection is definitely a good historic one, but for sure not great right now on that front. So yeah. 2 minutes to the half. Tampa Bay is going to kick off in a minute. Two-minute warning, Tampa Bay, 10-7. Tampa Bay over Atlanta here on Thursday Night Football. 2 minutes to the half. I don't know, Tom, but what I'm going to tell you is, again, I will say this for the millionth time: these division games are tough. These division games are absolutely tough. They're challenging circumstances because the players know each other and they play twice a year. They know each other and they play twice a year. So, again, these games are historically close no matter what the records of the teams are, but I'm sure Atlanta would love to spoil Tampa Bay's season, obviously, given that they're a division foe, right? So I just think that the players get up more for these division games for whatever reason, irrespective of what the records are. But again, Tampa Bay's offense looked terrible, barely beat the Cardinals with 3 wins 2 weeks ago. Then they lose to a team with 3 wins, the Saints, last week. Now they're playing a team with 4 victories. Not looking great. And Atlanta's got a chance here to potentially get a field goal before the half and send. If either way, if Atlanta's down 3 at the half, you got to feel good. If you're tied at the half, you're feeling amazing. You're feeling amazing. You're feeling like, wow, this is incredible, right? So, Either way, though, you're feeling great or you're feeling amazing if you're the Atlanta Falcons right now, if you get to the half no less than down 3 points. But anybody who, understands the NFL and the game of football and how these things work and scenarios and matchups and historical records would know that this is not surprising what the score is right now, given that Tampa Bay has not looked great on offense the last couple of weeks. And again, they're just not giving Baker Mayfield enough time to throw the football, that offensive line for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I think that's why at this given moment we're at 10-7, right? And again, I'd love to see the Panthers make the playoffs just because it'd be something new and different. Second and inches for the Falcons. They're at midfield here. They're going to run that ball and get the first down easily. So 48-yard line of the Falcons is their own. 10-7 Tampa Bay. Christian XC1 review. We're here from Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world, talking about Thursday Night Football with all of you. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We'll be at the half soon. We're going to have some fun at the half. And thank you so much for joining us, as always. Well, the Atlanta Falcons may be better than tied. They're inside the Tampa Bay red zone right now after that long pass. They could actually be leading at this point. Great play. Again, it's nice to see when NFL teams who really have nothing to play for are not giving up on themselves, and that was a great pass by the Atlanta Falcons there. Cousins finding, a wide open wide receiver just made that look too easy. Again, Tampa Bay was playing a better team. They'd probably be, getting shredded like shredded cheese, right? So inside the 20-yard line, the Atlanta Falcons here. Touchdown, Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are going to take the lead with 38 seconds before the half. Kyle Pitts with his second touchdown. Kyle Pitts with the second touchdown. I have to tell you something. If you've got in the tight end position Kyle Pitts on your weekly fantasy roster or your weekly fantasy contest, you're really happy right now. You're smiling because you're going to be way ahead going into the weekend games. Kyle Pitts with the second touchdown, 13-10 Atlanta now over the Bucs. What a pass. Great play. Found a way to get that one right there. Extra point's good. 14-10 Atlanta over Tampa Bay. 38 seconds into the half. Chris Shandick on the C1 review, Las Vegas Sports Network. Something like that. 38 seconds until the half. We're in commercial break. We're going to look up a couple things I'll look at a couple of things at halftime on the rodeo for sure. Why not? Let me go get a water. Take a little water break. We'll be back in 1 minute. Halftime, we're about 38 seconds away from the half. Atlanta is leading Tampa Bay. Upset much, 14-10. Falcons have 4 wins. Tampa Bay trying to make the playoffs, not looking great. Kirk Cousins with 2 touchdowns today already in the first half. Looking good. Could Cousins end up back in Minnesota next year? Tom has talked about that. I think it's possible. You know, I think the Indianapolis Colts wish they had Kirk Cousins right now. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Too late to do that. But, you know, Phillip Rivers, again, 4 years, hasn't played football. He's back on the Colts roster. What a great story that is. Ball tipped at the line and almost an interception right there by Baker Mayfield. Again, the Atlanta defensive line is just breaking through that Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line tonight. You know, really getting their hands up and getting there and making it difficult. Making it absolutely difficult. Making it absolutely difficult. Second and 10 for the Bucs. Bucs are still trying to get there. Incomplete pass. So, just for a record, if you're keeping score, there's a penalty flag on the play there. Let's see what happens there. What I have heard is they're not going to start him. That's what I've heard, right? But it's possible that he may play against the Seahawks, right? That is what I've heard about the Phillip Rivers situation. Incredible. Again, now we're here in 2025, about to be 2026, and I'm talking about Phillip Rivers playing in the NFL again. Any given Sunday, any given scenario, I guess. Buccaneers, because of that penalty, throw down the field, and that's the first really long pass of the night for the Buccaneers. They call timeout. Buccaneers at least will be in field goal range here. Now, if I'm the Falcons, I've got 4 victories, the first thing I'm thinking about is don't give up the long play. Do not give up a passing touchdown here in the last seconds. The defender fell down, which gave the Buccaneers wide receiver a chance to get wide open there, which was Mike Evans, of course. He gets out of bounds. 13 seconds now and counting. Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas to the world. And the Falcons, again, get to Baker Mayfield and sack him behind the line. Timeout by the Bucs. Now you're going to have to attempt a long field goal. Again, they just brought the house. They're breaking through that offensive line, that Falcons defense, and they get to the quarterback. So I think with 6 seconds left, I think you've got to kick the field goal here. Maybe. I don't know if you take another shot. I probably wouldn't, but we'll see what happens. Maybe you try to get a couple yards to get a closer field goal, but it just doesn't seem worth it, honestly, at this point. I mean, McLaughlin is a pretty good kicker, so see what they do here. 2nd and 18, 7 seconds remaining. Got a timeout now by the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Falcons know that they don't want to give up a major play here. Again, 7 seconds instead of 6. I don't get this move. I think they're more than in field goal range, honestly, here. I truly believe that, so I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Incomplete pass. Again, offensive line not holding up. Buccaneers are able to kick a field goal. See if they're able to get another one on the board. This one's like straight down the fairway if he can make it here. To be the last play of the half. Kick is up and it's good. 14-13 at the half. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the half of Thursday Night Football. Live from Las Vegas. Live from Las Vegas, we have reached halftime in the Thursday Night Football game. Again, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers desperate for a victory tonight. 7-6 on the season, wanting to keep those NFC South playoff hopes alive. The score at the half. Atlanta, 4-9 Atlanta, 14 Tampa Bay 13. Atlanta going to be well into this game, into the second half. And division games are always tough and challenging, but if Atlanta does not win tonight, it opens the door for the Carolina Panthers to take full control and advantage of that NFC South, where you've got 4 weeks left in the NFL season. And, you know, the Buccaneers are running out of time if they cannot win tonight. The Carolina Panthers will play twice, but I'm not really surprised it's a crazy game, Tom. I was expecting, a close game, but Falcons look good. Falcons look like they came to play. When you wonder when you get into the December months if these players just want to be home with their families and want Christmas and New Year's to come and want to get to the offseason so they can go on their vacations and do all the stuff they do in the offseason. But the reality of what it comes down to is the Falcons are here to play tonight. They are here to play tonight. So that's what we have to say. Halftime, Atlanta 14, Tampa Bay 13. Let's put that in the chat. Okay, so since we're in the halftime portion of the show, yeah, I mean, again, we know that the Panthers about 4 weeks ago had a challenging loss at home to the 3-9 Saints, and the Saints just beat the Bucs. So the Saints are absolutely capable of beating the Panthers on Sunday. But I got to tell you something, talking about the upcoming week of, the NFL season, week, that the reality is week 15. The reality is this, if the Buccaneers lose today, you better find a way to win that game. And it may be a 3-point game and a last-second field goal victory for the Panthers on Sunday. But you beat the Rams a couple weeks ago. Arguably could be the team that represents the NFC in the Super Bowl. So you better find a way to win that game. I know that the Saints are better than their record, and they've shown that. But you better find a way to win that game on Sunday if you're Carolina. And you better prove me right by winning that game on Sunday. You better find a way to win that game on Sunday. So let's take a look at the week. The obvious point is, and I don't need to tell you this, Buffalo, New England. I mean, Buffalo wins. Things could start getting really interesting if Buffalo wins this weekend. The AFC East could get a little more interesting if Buffalo wins this weekend, because then you have, 1 second, I'm sorry. I went too far. Second. Because then they would be 1 game apart, right, with 3 to play. 1 game apart with 3 to play if Buffalo were able to beat New England. So, again, Patriots look pretty good. They look like they could be the first seed in the league, but so I don't know about that, Tom. I mean, I don't know about that, Danny. I don't know about that. I know you love the Steelers, but I think it's going to be a close game. But I would give the nod to the Steelers, correct. I would absolutely give the nod to the Steelers. I'd absolutely give the nod to the Steelers. I think the Dolphins are playing better. I think it'll be a competitive game at least, so I think it'll be a competitive game. Sunday also, which, it's kind of amazing, but, Chargers are favored 6-7. Chargers are favored over the Los Angeles Chargers. Isn't that crazy? The Chargers have 9 wins. Right. The Chargers have 9 wins, and the KC Chiefs have 6. And because the Chiefs are at home, they're favored to win this weekend. And I'm going to tell you, and I mean this politely, I don't see anything in the Chiefs that makes me have confidence after the loss to the Texans on Sunday night. And I get it's a division game, so they're challenging and tough, but I mean, this is the last road for KC. If you don't win this weekend, there is no playoff hopes. So, and I think the Chargers are more than capable of beating the Chiefs for the second time in a year. Ravens better find a way to beat the Bengals, or the Steelers will take control of that AFC North. Bears. Here's I'm going to say Chicago Bears. Bounce back game against the Browns at home. You better win that game. There is no excuse, Chicago Bears fans. I don't care if Caleb Williams has offensive games where he struggles. There is no excuse. There is no excuse to lose that game on Sunday. The Bears are at home. They need to beat the Browns. There is no freaking excuse. Yeah. No one saw that. I agree, Tom. No one saw the Chiefs being under 500 at this point. But I'm just telling you, there is no excuse for the Bears to lose to the Browns on Sunday. Even the Tennessee Titans. Point be told, though, at the end of the day is that here's my response. Ready? That Bears defense is so good. That Bears defense is good that they should just demolish the Browns. The Browns shouldn't score more than 10 points on Sunday. So, also another one. Again, you have been warned. Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Colts last weekend. They play the New York Jets at home this weekend. Jets are capable of scoring some points and hanging around a little bit. Jacksons are heavily, the odds are to win that game. Jacksonville, you better focus on that. Again, Jacksonville and Chicago have games they cannot afford to lose. So here's what I'm going to tell you. 2 teams that cannot afford to lose games this weekend: the Bears and the Jaguars. You have been told. So you have been told, ladies and gentlemen. Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas and the world. We're in the most exciting city in America, Las Vegas tonight. Thursday Night Football halftime report from Las Vegas. 14-13 right now. Tampa Bay is losing to Atlanta, so that's all. Next weekend, Thursday Night Football, NFC West will be amazing when the Seahawks play the Rams. That'll be pretty incredibly good. Other than that, looking forward to seeing 2 other things on Sunday. Packers and the Broncos. How good will that Green Bay Packers offense do against the Denver Broncos defense at Mile High? Can't wait to see that. I also can't wait to see how the Rams do against the Lions. Should be an incredible game, for sure. And last stretch hope for humanity. Dallas Cowboys, Sunday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. This is it. The Eagles have played terrible. They should beat the Raiders this week. Las Vegas' hometown team. Um, but I got to tell you something. If the Cowboys have anything left, they have to win on Sunday Night Football. And if they don't, that's it. And the Vikings looked phenomenal last week in the who really wants to win it game between the Commanders, who they beat 31-0. Truthfully, again, Cowboys, this is your last stretch. So last stretch. Okay, so let's go over some Las Vegas history now, since we're all here. Just give me a minute. I'm going to pull up some notes. So here's a little Las Vegas history for you while we're talking here. So talking about, I didn't think we were going to spend a lot of time. I didn't think we were going to spend time talking about the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas, but it's a big event. Brings millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to the city. So interesting enough, the National Finals Rodeo has been in Las Vegas since 1985, and it used to be in Oklahoma City. So, and Michael Gaughan, again, the owner, the head of the South Point Hotel, Las Vegas and Casino, which is south of the Las Vegas Strip, which is a really old times Las Vegas place, but I love it. It's a fun place. Really enjoy the South Point. Great hotel, great property, great amenities. Got good stuff there. Great food, by the way, too, obviously. Great affordable meals, too. At their 24-hour cafe, if you've never been, great food. And they have different specials every day, too. Michael Gaughan, big reason for the National Finals Rodeo coming to Las Vegas. And, so this is actually the 40th anniversary. And, it's a main tradition for the Thomas and Mack Center on the campus of UNLV, right? And the reason I don't think it's ever moved is just because, aside from, I don't know, again, so aside from some of the college events, I don't know how much else goes on at the Thomas and Mack Center. So it's a big contract probably for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, the Rebels, so they probably want it to continue to be there for obvious reasons. While there are other venues like T-Mobile on the Las Vegas Strip, of course, where the Golden Knights play, and I agree with that. Yeah, we're about to start the second half here. Just to give you some numbers, Kirk Cousins, 12 for 16, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. So Falcons are getting the ball first too. So good chance for Atlanta to open up the field of play here. 1 hour from now, Lane Fobbs, college football, Bearcat Bites will be here. We'll be talking college football playoff games and some of the bowl games as well. Thank you very much for being here tonight here in Las Vegas. Live reaction from the Thursday night football game. We really appreciate your support, and thank you so much for being in the room, whether you're watching this in the live or the recorded. Your support is so greatly appreciated. See if Atlanta can come out hot here in the second half. We'll definitely take a look at that. Yeah, I agree with that, Tom. And the Falcons are starting with a good pass. They've got all that offensive line coverage there. Um, you know, the Falcons have a chance if they get up 8. It's going to be tough for Tampa Bay. I agree with you. We got a game into the fourth quarter if that's the case. Excuse me. Falcons are at the 45-yard line of Tampa Bay, getting close to field goal range. Need about 10 more yards to get there. Only played 1 minute in the second half, but Atlanta looks like they're motivated. Atlanta absolutely looks like they're motivated. And I'm going to tell you, if Atlanta wins this one, I can't see Tampa making the playoffs. They have to play Carolina twice and Miami once. Miami's got at least a healthier roster and is more competitive now, even if they don't make the playoffs and they lose to the Steelers on Monday. Still a lot to be said for. A lot of money there in that national finals rodeo. Thank you for the statistics, Danny. Makes sense. Makes sense. By the way, the South Point is still home, of course, to the annual Casino Collectibles Association convention, which is the largest in the world of Las Vegas memorabilia, chips, cards, dice, memorabilia from all the casinos, past and present as well, by the way. On a side note, South Point is also home to that convention every year in the summer. Yeah, it could possibly open the door for Dallas. I agree with you on that front. Again, if you only believe that there's only going to be one team to make the playoffs from the NFC South, it possibly could, absolutely. But again, Minnesota looked good last week, and I don't think Dallas is going to have an easy game against Minnesota on Sunday. I don't see that being an easy game, just my opinion. Well, the Buccaneers were able to contain the Falcons. I don't think a 64-yard field goal attempt is coming. 62 possibly. 62, excuse me. But Falcons at least get the ball in midfield, and they do flip the field, which is a good effort to start the half, which means that the Buccaneers are not going to have great field position to start. Yep, the Buccaneers are absolutely going to punt. 12 minutes here left in the third quarter. This could be a fast one, Tom. Feels like it is anyways for a football game. Falcons are punting it deep. They're inside the... It's a touchback. There's also a flag on the play, though. Let's check the marker. Got a holding on Tampa Bay. Going to be first down. Timeout. That'll be assessed on the field. So probably the Bucs are going to start at about, I don't know, inside their 20. We're taking a timeout in Tampa Bay. 14-13. Atlanta holding on to a lead over Tampa Bay. 11 minutes left in the third. I'll be right back for that commercial break. Back from the break here, 14-13, 11:35. Here's what I'm going to say to you. So if you have to run 2 miles, Tom, for a hole on a punt, what do you get if you have a hold on a field goal attempt? What should it be then? I want to hear that one. That's an enlighten me moment if there ever was one. That's for sure. Christian Endek, C1 Review, covering Las Vegas and the world, NFL Live, Thursday night football style. We're here in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. Hope you're all having a good time tonight. We're here till the end of this one, and in 50 minutes we'll be having Lane Fobbs join us for a weekly college football segment, which usually, again, is a recorded one. It's going to happen live here tonight on this live. So we'll be doing that in about 50 minutes. As the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are down a point to the Falcons, have a 3rd and 2 at their own 18-yard line. Really need to pick this one up. And they do, barely with a run, to their own 23-yard line. 10 minutes and 24 seconds left here. First and 10 for the Buccaneers. They're at their own, 23-yard line. Baker Mayfield finally finds someone for about a 22, 21-yard pass. That's going to be a first down. 9 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Mike Evans went up and got a long catch. This is the first example of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense finally playing with a sense of urgency in the last couple of weeks. Long ball throw to Mike Evans. That puts the ball inside the Atlanta Falcons 20-yard line. What a catch by Mike Evans. Mike Evans finally showing some of his great talents this season. Hasn't shown enough of it this year. Great NFL wide receiver, absolutely historic. He has been the heart of this Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiving team. That's for sure. I mean, the reason they pay you the big bucks to catch the football in the NFL is being able to do something like that, Again, clicking on one drive does not make this the whole game, but I agree with you on that regard. Got a chance to get at least 3 points here, maybe 7, depending on what happens, but I agree with you 100%. I have to tell you something again. 1st and goal, and Baker Mayfield gets sacked again back at about the 12, 13-yard line. Again, that Tampa Bay, I don't know what they need to do with that Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line, but they better start doing blitz drills and traffic. I mean, this is just the Buccaneers are just making it so easy for the Falcons defenders to get to Baker Mayfield. 2nd and goal here at the 13, 14-yard line. Incomplete pass. It's going to be 3rd and goal. Again, big play here. This is the play. Well, this is a play. 3rd and goal. There's 5 minutes left in the third. Tampa Bay's trailing by 1. There's 7 minutes left in the third. Excuse me. Here's the thing. You don't want to be too overly aggressive because then you throw an interception in the end zone or something close to the end zone. So Tampa Bay's got to be careful here because you want to take the lead at least and get those 3 points. Obviously, you want to play for the touchdown, but you got to be careful here on this one. Incomplete pass in the back of the end zone. So that's going to set up a field goal attempt for Tampa Bay, but there is a penalty flag on the play. And this is why the Atlanta Falcons have 4 victories. If they have a penalty, this is going to be sad. Illegal hands to the face, unfortunately, on the Falcons. That gives the Buccaneers an automatic first down here. Christian C1 interview covering Las Vegas and the world. We're 2 hours into our NFL Live Thursday Night Football special edition, Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Great game so far, 14-13 Atlanta, but Tampa Bay is about to score a touchdown potentially. Tampa Bay must win this game to stay in first place in the NFC South. They're currently 7-6. The 4-9 Falcons, though, today have played very competitive, have played an absolutely good game. Falcons are continuing to play good defense here. There's a penalty flag on the play again. Let's see if that's a holding call. Let's see if that's a holding call. Another penalty flag on the Falcons? Really? We shall see. Got a personal foul and a face mask on Atlanta. That's got to be, Tough breaks for Atlanta on the last 2 games. They should be off the field. Tampa Bay should have kicked a field goal. It's where it should be right now, but it's not. Tough breaks for the tough breaks. Even when Tampa Bay tries to go outside on the running back, the Falcons' defensive line is there. They stop them in the backfield. 2nd and goal coming up from about the 6 or 7 yard line. They were dumb penalties indeed, Tom. I agree with you. Dumb penalties. Tampa Bay finally gets the touchdown. So Tampa Bay takes the lead back. Devin Cope with the touchdown from Baker Mayfield. Undisciplined is exactly right, Tom. And by the way, that's why the Atlanta Falcons have 4 victories. 19-14 now, Tampa Bay over Atlanta. See if Tampa Bay goes for the 2-point conversion here. Excuse me. Tampa Bay has opted to kick the extra point with 6:22 left in the third. Kick is up, and it's good. 20-14, Tampa Bay over Atlanta. Third quarter, Thursday Night Football, live from Las Vegas, giving you live reaction from the game happening down live in Tampa Bay, Florida. 20-14, Tampa Bay over Atlanta. Did you have Mike Evans on your fantasy team this week? Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas and the world. We're in the third quarter, Thursday Night Football Special Edition, NFL Live. Um, Tampa Bay's playing Atlanta. Tampa Bay's up 20-14. Tampa Bay's got to find a way. Got to find a way to get it moving along here. Hold on to this lead against the Falcons. Falcons have played competitive tonight. Kirk Cousins with 2 touchdown passes already. We'll see what the Falcons can do on this drive. See if they can answer. Kirk Cousins almost throws an interception there on 1st and 10. Falcons have got to stop playing a little messy here. Got to settle down a little bit. Try to get again a couple of yards at a time. Play like they play in the first half against the Bucks. 6 minutes until the fourth quarter begins. It's 20-14, Tampa Bay and Atlanta right now. Yeah, you're doing a good job, obviously. You really like those Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receivers. I'd have Mike Evans still on my team, obviously. I agree with that. Falcons are gonna get a first down and more up to about the Tampa Bay 45-yard line and a good screen pass. So Falcons got some life here, about 10 yards away from at least field goal range. 5 minutes and 57 seconds left here in the third. Great play, very much needed pass, conversion attempt for a first down by the Atlanta Falcons offense here. Christian XCY review covering Las Vegas in the world. We're in the most exciting city in the world watching Thursday Night Football with you, which is taking place in the Tampa Bay. Falcons deep pass incomplete. Just missed it. That should have been an easy one. I don't know if it would have been a touchdown, but he would have been inside the 20-yard line. Cousins just missed the wide receiver there. Bad incomplete pass. First down, Atlanta inside the 30. Atlanta's in scoring range at least to get 3 points. 5 minutes left here in the third quarter. If Atlanta were able to score a touchdown here, I think it would say a lot about what the dynamics of the fourth quarter are going to be like. So we'll see. Second and 10 coming up, 4 minutes and 41 seconds left here. No yards on that last play for the Falcons. Incomplete pass. Third and 10 coming up for the Falcons. The good thing about the Falcons is at least they're in field goal range, if anything else, right? So they can make it a one-score game. We got a penalty flag potentially on the field here. See what happens. There is a flag. Intentional grounding on the Falcons. That's going to be a loss of downs. And put that back a little bit. So that's going to make it a little bit harder for the Falcons on the field goal range attempt. So I got to tell you one thing. Got to get some yards here on third down for Atlanta to make the field goal attempt easier. I think that's what we're focused on now. Third and 20 for the Falcons from in Tampa Bay territory. 4 minutes and 37 seconds left in the half. Incomplete pass over the middle, just missed. Tough penalty for the Falcons there. Very tough penalty. Special teams units coming on for Atlanta. Oh, muff punt, but the Buccaneers hold on. Could have easily been a fumble, but a muff punt nonetheless. 9-yard line. The Buccaneers will begin after I'm going to guess we're going to get a commercial break here. 4 minutes and 26 seconds left. Thursday Night Football in the third quarter, 20-14, Tampa Bay over Atlanta. I'm Christianic on the CY Interview, Las Vegas Sports YouTube network. Be right back. Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas and the world. We're back. We're on commercial. 20-14. Tampa Bay beating Atlanta. Atlanta almost just fumbled a kick. Tom, I did not know that there was an Iowa, Louisiana, meaning the city is Iowa and the state is Louisiana. Oh my gosh, news to me, man. I didn't know that. A lot of people don't know there's like a Gainesville, I believe, Texas, and a Gainesville, Georgia, I believe, besides the Gainesville, Florida that we know. That's pretty crazy stuff. I had never known that, Tom, and that is incredible. So let's look this up just for curiosity standpoints. So just to fill this in for you, this town of Iowa, Louisiana, has a population of a little over 3,000 people. And that is why I've never heard of it, right? Probably. And I knew a lot of small towns in America. You know, most people, again, who've been to Las Vegas, they've never heard of Searchlight or Tonopah, for example, or Mesquite even, which is, right next door in Las Vegas, of course. Got the Casablanca resorts in Mesquite, among others. Um, you know, Thank you for entertaining me on that one. Famed professional wrestler AJ Styles is from Gainesville, Georgia. Never knew that. Okay. Well, thank you. You taught me something else tonight, but you get my drift. So Tampa Bay's at about midfield. Seems like that Tampa Bay is finally getting some of that momentum that's truly needed if they're going to win this football game and they're going to make the playoffs. Looking a lot better in these last couple of drives. Like they're looking like a better, at least playoff team against Atlanta. Atlanta really needs to find a way to get this shut down quickly. That's for sure. Christian XT1 review covering Las Vegas and the world. We're in the most exciting city in the world doing Thursday night football with you. 2 minutes and 29 seconds left here in the third quarter. We are about a half an hour away from Lane Fobbs, Bearcat Bites, talking college football. Here in this live, we will do that and obviously republish that segment on the main channel. So far, possessions for Tampa Bay: punt, touchdown, punt, field goal, touchdown. So let's see what Tampa Bay can do on this drive as we get close to the fourth quarter. And again, Tampa Bay's got a 2nd and 5. Tampa Bay's offensive line is nowhere in existence, and the Atlanta Falcons defense sacks Baker Mayfield way behind the line, and because he's sacked way behind the line, we got a 3rd and long, not even in field goal range anymore, 3rd and 12 coming up for Tampa Bay. If Atlanta's defense is able to hold on this one and get it to the fourth quarter as a one-score game, that's a great victory right now. Let's see what happens here. 3rd and 12, midfield, Baker Mayfield on the field. Incomplete. Buccaneers are going to have to punt. Falcons defense steps up. They sack Baker Mayfield on that 2nd down. They get off the field. 4th and 12 now for Tampa Bay and Atlanta. And Atlanta should get the ball back with about 55 seconds left in the third quarter. Exciting one here tonight, watching here from Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. Exciting one, actually. This is actually a much better game, I think, than a lot of us anticipated. Atlanta calls for the fair catch at about their 13-yard line. I have to tell you, Tom, I agree with you. When you're 2nd and 5 and it's all going well, running the ball makes a lot of sense. 53 seconds left in the third quarter. We're taking a commercial break. I'm going to check something while we're sitting here. I'm actually looking for that statistic as we speak. Let me see if I can find that. While we're on commercial break here, because we're going to be on commercial break after one or two more plays anyway. That's where we're headed, as you know. Check one more source. Hang on. While we're here. If you would have told me, interesting enough, if you would have told me that you would be watching the National Finals rodeo from here in Las Vegas tonight, instead of watching the football game, that would have been, I don't know if I would have guessed that. But I get it. It's not the greatest NFL game of the year. It doesn't sound exciting. Hmm. Look at the play here on second. Did the ball fall to the ground? The ball fall to the ground, obviously. It's hilarious how Tampa Bay tried to make it seem like that was a turnover, but, you know. I think, honestly, to tell you the truth, you would probably watch anything sports related if it had some kind of storyline or it had some kind of thing, so makes sense. Got a penalty review. They are giving it to the Bucs. I guess it was considered a fumble because it sure wasn't incomplete. First down for the Bucs here at the 25 of Atlanta with 6 seconds left. Tampa Bay has a chance to put the exclamation point. They almost sacked Baker again. And he's going to get a first down going to the fourth. We're going to the fourth quarter. Inside the red zone, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are trying to put away the Atlanta Falcons. It's 20-14, Tampa Bay over Atlanta. We got 15 minutes left in this one. Thursday Night Football live reaction from Las Vegas, the greatest city in the world. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We're going to the fourth quarter. 20 minutes, Lane Bob's college football predictions as well. We're on our way. Thank you so much. We'll be back in 1 minute before we start the fourth. I figured it was like 4 or 5 on the sacks. Second down and 10 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here, trying to score within the red zone. And they get 3 here at least. They put a little space between them and the Falcons. Second and 10 at the 15-yard line. Got a pass interference penalty flag probably on the Falcons defense. It seems like the Falcons, the best of it is behind them now. 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Not looking great. And first and goal is coming up for the Buccaneers here. Tampa Bay finally decides to run the ball, and they listen to Tom. They're inside the 3-yard line of Atlanta, second and goal coming up 20-14. Tampa Bay over Atlanta. And Tampa Bay is going to get that touchdown. And who's it going to be? Chris Godwin Jr., which Tom, I believe, has on one of his fantasy teams. Chris Godwin Jr. with the touchdown from Baker Mayfield, 26-14 now. Tampa Bay over Atlanta. Atlanta finally blowing open the door. They need this victory again for the NFC South. And we're gonna have an early edition tonight. He's here a little bit earlier tonight. NFL Live Thursday Night Football. We're gonna do our college football segment now with Lane Fobbs. We're gonna join him in the room. Chris Shandek is here with us. Chris Shandek, C1 Review, covering Las Vegas and the world. NFL Live Thursday Night Football special edition here live. We're live in the room. Tom is excited. One of our longtime fans down there in the right chat corner. We're doing a weekly college football show. We're going to talk tonight college football playoff and bowl games, a couple of bowl games. Lane, how are you? Thanks so much for joining in on our live tonight here on YouTube.
Man, I'm glad to be here. I'm having a good time, man. I kind of low-key prep with some NFL. I've been watching the game. It looks like, the Falcons are dropping too many passes. The Bijan Robinson fumble. It's indicative of what is going on there and indicative of a front office and coaching staff that just need to go.
No, I agree with you on that. I'm here tonight because we're going to talk a lot about coaches next week. When we do our regular segment on Wednesday nights, which drops usually every Wednesday nights, Las Vegas time. I'm going to start by asking you, let's just talk about the college football playoff and just begin. I think truly Oklahoma and Alabama is going to be the best game of the first round. Thoughts, prediction?
Yes, it is the one that is most likely to be the best game. Miami, Texas A&M has potential as well. We'll talk about that one, but this one, I mean, why wouldn't you think that it'd be the best game? Because they played a good one early in the year, which Oklahoma won. Alabama, Oklahoma, they both beat, by virtue, top 10, playoff team. Texas A&M did not beat a playoff team, interestingly enough. But I like this matchup. Ty Simpson did not look great. I'm not very high on the Alabama quarterback. For as much size as Alabama has, they don't really use it too much, other than lining up an offensive lineman to do a trick play. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Oklahoma in this one. I don't like the quarterbacks at all, but it's in Norman. I think Brent Venables is a much better schemer defensively. He's gonna frustrate Caleb DeBoer in his offensive attack. Give me the Sooners in kind of the same way that they won the first one.
They won by 2 in the first one. And the thing I have to tell you is that it's just like, I've said this for weeks, and I think I've said this to you on multiple occasions. I love Oklahoma's defense. I don't love their offense.
Right. And the thing is, you can by that measure, maybe you like Alabama's more, but overall you feel kind of the same about Alabama, but because it's DeBoer, it just hasn't quite embodied the spirit of Nick Saban. So I'm a little lower on their defense. So when it comes to this game, I love the defense for Oklahoma. Don't really like their offense. Alabama, their defense, their offense, where's Ryan Willis? But we could talk about that, doing a whole hour on that, right? But I feel the same about their offense. So the defense for the Sooners is going to really power them in this game. I'm taking the Crimson. Well, the home team Crimson, the Sooners.
Game decided by 7 points or less for sure. Probably the
Oh yeah.
closest one up of the four. Probably the closest one, Oklahoma, Alabama. Let's move along. Tulane Ole Miss. I have a really interesting feeling about this game. Lane Kiffin's gone. A bunch of his staff's gone. John Summerall's sticking around to coach them through while being the new head coach of Florida. I mean, can this be a close game? I think it can be. No.
So what's interesting is Pete Golden, the new offense, the former DC now turned head coach for Ole Miss, he canceled his introductory press conference because he wanted it to be about the players. So I think for anyone who would say, well, this is a battle of two teams with outgoing coaches, but Summerall's the good guy here. Pete Golding can kind of cast himself as that as well. He's at least from a politicking grease and palm standpoint, right? He's trying to endear himself, so that kind of is canceled out. I just think Ole Miss has the better players here. This is one of those where I agree that if you're going to have a playoff, you have to have the G5ers in there, but I think this is just going to be what happens as a result of that, an early round blowout, much like you see in the conference tournament. I'm sorry, in the big dance with the men's and women's college basketball tournament. It'll be a little closer maybe than people think, but I'm going to go with Ole Miss in a solid victory.
Yeah, again, I just wonder what those Ole Miss players feel like though with Lane Kiffin leaving. I just wonder, do they even care? I know that sounds crazy to say, but it was going to be an uphill battle to get to that semifinal and final round already. The point be told is that it's just kind of like, I don't know. I like Tulane. I think they can keep it close. I really do. I think John Summerall's just got nothing to lose. He's got the greatest opening job in college football now. I believe in John Summerall. I'm on board. I really like what Florida did, and I think it'll be a close game, and I'll be excited to watch that one. Moving along, the other one, James Madison in Oregon. What can they show at Oregon?
Oh, I mean, well, I believe his name's Wayne Knight, the running back. Don't quote me on that. I think that's his name. That might also be the guy from that starred as Newman and Seinfeld. They got the same name, I think. But they got a really good running back for the Dukes. They got a really good running back. This is another one of those blowouts. James Madison deserved to be there using the metrics. And by the way, as an aside, stop adjusting the metrics to help Notre Dame, okay? Notre Dame whined, pitched a fit this entire week. I'm tired of it. Stop it, okay? All you had to do was make an extra point against Texas A&M, and this whole narrative changes, all right? But I digress. Give me Oregon.
Still
Give me
win
the
that
Ducks.
game. In that game, listen, here's what I'm going to say, and this is the only thing I have to say, and then we'll talk about TAMU Miami. And I'm sure TAMU is happier that they're playing Miami and not Notre Dame, by the way. I think you're 100% right about that, but here's what I'm going to say to you. Ready? Miami losses. Southern Methodist University, Louisville at home. Big favorites in both games. Sorry, they shouldn't have been in. Someone else should have been in. If you don't want to put Notre Dame in, fine, but Miami. Now, speaking of them, they play TAMU. I think TAMU, again, SEC schedule, who they played, where they're going. I don't think Miami wins in this environment, no.
Oh, man. Now, see, we talked about this with the Texas and Texas A&M game. If I say I believe that the Aggies will win, that means they might not. And we saw what happened. What gives me hope in this game, Carson Beck, I don't think he's a good quarterback. He can become a turnover machine and a mistake machine. And this is a front seven that can really stop that. The problem is going to be the defensive backs for A&M. Other than Will Lee, I don't like the rest of the defensive backs. So if Carson can get it down the field, there's going to be some open guys. I think if this was last year's Miami team, where you had Cam Ward and Xavier Estrepo, man, this would be a problem. But what kind of scares you for A&M offensively? Marcel Reed kind of got exposed a little bit. Marcel one read. If that open guy's not there, whoa! And now Ruben Bain is there for the front seven of Miami. But like you said, it's at home. Let's see. Let me go ahead and give me the Aggies, but I feel the same way I did about the Texas game.
TAMU 28, Miami 21, my opinion.
I hope so. Let me say that.
I hope so for you too. I'm rooting for TAMU as well, obvious reasons. Okay, let's talk about some of the bowl games. I want to start out with just talking about a couple of things. First, I don't know if it's going to be Kyle Whittingham's last game in the Las Vegas Bowl here, but what a great matchup with him and Matt Rule. Seriously, Nebraska, Utah, this could actually be a game where both teams have a lot of their players and they actually care about winning, no?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game. Nebraska kind of limped to the end there. They have every reason to want to kind of, end it on a high note despite the things that happened. Um, but Utah, who knows if it's going to be Whittingham's swan song? He might just announce it right afterwards. There's certain people that I don't want to have this whole year long goodbye. He's not the Coach K type. So, um, man, this is tough. It's always tough picking bowl games. But like you said, both teams are going to play. Oh man, I need to see the Big 12 grab some W's here to kind of shift the narrative towards they're a fun conference. Give me Whittingham, give me the Utes out west, and what should be a nice environment for them because close for fans.
They're playing, if you can believe it, which is a really weird time. They're playing on New Year's Day, but they're playing at 12:30 I think it's 12:30 Las Vegas time, if memory serves me right. It's an early game, actually, for the entertainment capital of the world, which will be kind of fun, but it's later this year. It's usually like right after Christmas or right before Christmas. It's actually going to be on New Year's Eve this year.
And some of those couple of bowls. I know the Bahamas Bowl was no longer, and I know one other bowl. It's on the tip of my tongue. Can't think of it. Maybe I'm sure maybe somebody will in the comments. But there's two bowls this year that are gone. So
Yeah.
it kind of has shifted. Some of these others, those are TV spots they need to fill based on and all this type of stuff. So we're gonna have this, bowls that aren't at their traditional time, which is kind of unfortunate for the long timers. But it is what it is.
Yeah, we got a lot of other things to look forward to, though. Moving forward, I want to talk about that. Speaking of that, Fun Bowls Island things, Hawaii had such a great year, and they're going to probably beat Cal, I think, on the island. They like playing in their own bowl game. But let's just sum up Hawaii season. Cal, Hawaii, your thoughts?
They brought in a really good defensive coordinator for Hawaii. There is a toughness and an edge to them that was not there in previous iterations of this team in the program. That was always the perception. It's like, yeah, they're going to throw it down the field, but they can't hit nobody. Well, these guys can hit now. Remember, I had to watch them for a full game when Sam Houston was out there. And that was the thing I noticed. I mean, that Jeremiah Otis guy, I think I'm not sure if he got hurt for the year or not. I think he's still playing. I hope he is, just so people can get to see him a little bit. But Cal, they've got their quarterback. He's from the island too, so he's going to be motivated as well. Man, I'm going to take Cal. I'm going to take Berkeley, man. They're going to take that energy from the Bay Area, the fun down there. Like I said, they got a native QB. Give it to the Bears, the Golden Bears, in a fun, close game. And this is the one game, the one game that the one non-playoff game that I'm looking forward to the most, honestly.
38-35 is the victor in that one. No.
Yeah.
38-31, 38-35. Oh, I will look forward to watching this. Is it going to be on Christmas Eve again, as it always is?
Christmas Eve at 5 o'clock your time, 7 p.m. here Central.
I'll be watching that. There's nothing else to watch on Christmas Eve at that point. I'll absolutely have that game on. Absolutely. Love Hawaii in the bowl games. Let's talk Las Vegas's college football team. Great year. Again, still can't get over the Boise State three-headed monsters we talked about. It's just not happening for whatever reason. The thing of what it comes down to at the end of the day is probably can beat Ohio in the Frisco Bowl. No, 11 wins, 11-3 still looks like a great year. No.
Oh yeah, it's a good win. I mean, remember, this is Dan Mullen's first year. That first year, normally you throw the first year out a lot of the time. They got to get their guys in and get rooted and get the culture going and all that stuff. I mean, 10 wins with some tough road games. You look good in a couple of them, but then you look kind of down in one of them. In some of the losses, but against a MAC team, it's going to be out in Frisco. So go ahead and give me the Running Rebels. like I
Yeah, I
said,
think they'll be.
I
I
am
think they'll
not
be
picking
playing all.
against
I
them
think
the
they'll be
rest of the
playing all
season.
their players. I think they're just a better overall team. I think if I had a choice
Yes.
between picking a Mountain West Conference team at the top and the MAC Conference, I'm taking the MWC every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Oh yeah. Come on now.
All right. Iowa Vandy, thoughts? I think this could be a good one. I wish we were getting, honestly, and I think you would agree, I wish we were getting Vanderbilt and Notre Dame in a bowl game with all the players playing, all things being equal. That would have been a fun bowl game, no?
Yeah, and for Notre Dame to prove that hey, we belong and all these things. Okay, you think you should have been there? Let's see if you can beat a Vandy team that didn't make it as well. That would have been great, great theater. You know what I mean? Um, I am. Oh man, this is a fun one and one that's cool to think about because again, it's a OG Kirko as I call him, the coach for Iowa Kirk Ferentz. It's him trying to slow down Diego Pavia. Oh, inject that in my veins, man. I'm gonna go with OG Kirko. I'm gonna go with Kirk Ferentz. I think Diego Pavia does a couple of cool things, but this game is like 21-17.
This is the other good bowl game worth watching as well, by the way.
Indeed.
All
And
right.
this one's on New Year's Eve. New
All
Year's Eve
right.
at 9 a.m. your time.
Absolutely. Okay. Fill me in. Prairie View versus South Carolina State. Historical references, storylines, all of it. Help me.
So this is the de facto black college national championship. So the highest levels of black college football. So there's even D2 level college football, all of that. This is high level. This would be on the FCS level, which means it's the biggest one for black college football. They're going to play it in Atlanta. The Celebration Bowl is the champion of the SWAC, Prairie View, versus the champion of the MEAC, South Carolina State. Again, Prairie View is the new guy. Prairie View's the new guy here. SWAC MEAC in a perfect world, they probably want something like Jackson State FAMU. The problem is FAMU's now in the SWAC conference realignments kind of altered that. But South Carolina State has been here before. Now they've gone against the Coach Prime versions of Jackson State at a time, and then they won, I believe, within the last couple of years. Man, just like the one we talked about against Jackson State for Prairie View, my heart says Prairie View. My head says South Carolina State. Prairie View has been out there for 4 days in Atlanta. You got some young men out in Atlanta for 4 days. And I haven't heard anything on, nothing
Atlanta.
crazy, but they called the Buckhead flu for a reason.
There are so many parties, clubs, events, and things to do in Atlanta, one of the major cities in America. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Please all make it to the game. Please all make it to the game, Prairie View. Please make it to the game, right? Please make it. Please make it in one piece. Don't anybody get arrested. Don't have a, don't have one of those crazy moments. Okay, finally, I'm just going to tell you before we get any of this, I don't know all the details of what's going on in Michigan except for the obvious. We wish everybody the best. We hope it all goes well. It's unfortunate to see things like this always happen. Always health first, mental health first, well-being first. Texas versus Michigan. Here's my question, just talking about the football. How does Michigan focus on this football game based on everything that's happened this week?
Man, I don't know. That's the tough part. And it's, we talk about Notre Dame canceling. This would be a time. This would definitely be acceptable if they, I don't know. I think Biff Poggi, the Michigan assistant, was a Michigan assistant, and the head coach at Charlotte. Now he's back as an assistant. He's the intern now. But the thing is, he's part of that whole tree of just, things that have happened that aren't football. We should be talking about how fun Bryce Underwood is. We should be talking about Bryce Underwood versus Arch Manning. We should be talking about that, but because of just some of the choices that Michigan has made, over the years and things, and like we say, we don't have all the details yet, but it's more of this stuff, off-field stuff that we got to talk about. So I the only thing I would say is if you're a player in this, You're just saying, hey, let me get some stuff on tape, and if I don't like the way things shake out, I can leave. That's really the only thing you say. The portal opens January 2nd, I think, somewhere around there, and that's your motivation. But for this one, I mean, how do you not take Texas? How do you not take Texas? Meanwhile
Yeah,
they're trying to
how
show that,
can you
hey,
not?
we didn't stink. We can actually do what we couldn't do against Ohio State, get a win over a Big Ten team, book in what's a 10-win year. We can sell that, if you're Sark, if you're
Yeah,
Steve Sarkisian.
I mean, if you're filling out those free bowl contests on ESPN, which they still have, and you have to like do I don't know if they still do the ones where you risk like the amount from highest to lowest, but back in the day they used to have those contests where you had like 30 bowls and you do the risk point ratio. Like if 30 points would be the team you think wins the most, right? Texas is going to be the 30s on everyone's thing if that's the roster. I mean, how could it not be?
Right.
Finally, you put out a newsletter this week talking about end of the season rewards for Sam Houston Bearcat Bites, of course, on X Twitter, which is obviously in the description below of this YouTube live, and this obviously segment that we're going to have separate and apart from it that people can watch if they just want to watch this. Let me ask you, what's going on? End of the year rewards, Bearcat Bites. Where can everybody find you?
So, Bearcat Bites, we're the only independent media covering Sam Houston football year round. I was able to find and glean positive moments off of a 2-win Sam Houston football season. That alone is worth reading down in those descriptions and following me there at Twitter X at Bearcat Bites.
Yeah, here's my response to you in this regard. I'm ready for next September as much as you are, even though we haven't even started the college football playoff games. We'll be back next week to talk coaching changes and coaching whatever's at our usual time, Wednesday. We'll drop it in the comment section below. Of course, as always, hit up Lane Fobbs, Bearcat Bites on Twitter. Lane, thanks so much for joining our NFL Live tonight during the Falcons and Buccaneers. Thank you for making it special, and happy holidays, sir. And of course, see you next Wednesday.
Happy holidays to you as well, sir, my friend. We'll see you next week. Happy to do it. All college football is good college football.
Even when Thursday night football is going on, ladies and gentlemen, in the background. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good one, okay?
All right, we'll see you.
And that was Lane Fobbs. Of course, we do our weekly Wednesday college football segment with him. It'll drop, obviously, next Wednesday. We're going to talk coaches next week. Getting back to the NFL game, Falcons Bucks, 5 minutes left here. It's 28-20 Tampa Bay, and it looks like there might have just been a fumble on the field. Let's see if Atlanta is going to keep the ball here or not. But Atlanta's made it a one-score game again. 5 minutes left here. Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas and the world. Of course, we'll, again, if you want to watch and rewatch the retake of our segment with Lane, it'll be posted as a separate video by tomorrow. Also, college football playoffs don't start for another week or so, but talking about that and all the good bowls. But yeah, I would agree with Tom also that I think that Michigan's going to lose some players given to all the things that are going on currently with Michigan football. There's no denying that. I think that's a fair statement. So we got 5 minutes left in the 5 minutes left in the Atlantis. First and goal for the Falcons. Falcons are trying to tie it up here. They will need a 2-point conversion. Kirk Cousins is in the backfield here, and that's going to be incomplete. 4 minutes and 18 seconds left. 28-20 Tampa over Atlanta again. It'll obviously be 4 downs here for the Falcons and the Buccaneers. It'll be interesting to see. Be interesting to see if the Falcons can get the touchdown here and can get the 2. So that for sure. But Thursday night football, it's a better one, I think, than people expected. But Tampa Bay, again, needs to hold on again. Any given Sunday, nothing is guaranteed, of course, in the NFL. But yeah. Looks like we got a timeout potentially. Flag on the play with 4 minutes and 14 seconds left here. Going to be a penalty on Atlanta. Second down. Second and goal is going to be repeated here. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we got 3rd and goal for the Falcons against the Bucs here. 4 minutes left. Can the Falcons find a way to get a touchdown here and make it at least a 2-point game? And then we're going to have the 2-point conversion attempt. Again, Christian XC1 Review covering Las Vegas and the world, live from Las Vegas. 28-20, here we go. Let's see if Kirk Cousins can find a way to get a touchdown on the board here. If not, we're going to 4th and goal, obviously. Falcons. Ooh, he bobbled it, and they're going to rule that a touchdown. And they're going to review it here. I think it was a touchdown. And it is a touchdown for the Atlanta Falcons. Kyle Pitts again. Another Kyle Pitts touchdown. That's 3 tonight for Kyle Pitts. If you have Kyle Pitts on your fantasy football team, you're going to victor today. That's all I can say to you in that regard. You know, unbelievable. Touchdown Atlanta, 28-26. Let's see now if Atlanta can get the 2-point conversion here. If not, still time left to get the ball back, of course, and kick a game-winning field goal. But I'm just going to tell you in this regard, getting the 2 here would be huge for the Atlanta Falcons here. They're reviewing it multiple times, but it looks like again that they absolutely got it. So obviously, scoring plays are always reviewed in the NFL anyway, but that's where we are. Still reviewing the play. We still got an official review. There's 3 minutes and 34 seconds left in this one. The call on the field is a touchdown. While the review is still being reviewed, I think he caught it. I hope he caught it for the sake of him. That'd be 3 touchdowns in one game here. They're still reviewing it, but I think it's a touchdown. Tampa Bay's defense seems to think it's incomplete, but I think it's a touchdown, honestly, to tell you the truth. Play on the field is reviewed, and it is going to be confirmed as a touchdown. So touchdown, Atlanta. So now Atlanta's going to have to go for the 2-point conversion, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see if we can get a 2 here. If we get a 2, we got 28-28 with 3 minutes and 34 seconds left. Obviously, you're going for 2. The only one who's not going for 2 is the person who has no understanding of math, football math, and math in general. Yeah, I mean, you have to be you don't understand football if you're not going for 2 here, obviously. And he didn't get it. Good rush and blitz by the Tampa Bay defense. But here's the thing. There's still 3 minutes and 34 seconds left. There's a 2-minute warning. So Atlanta absolutely has the opportunity to get the ball back, but they're going to have to play some perfect defense here. So, Baker Mayfield throws an interception. It sets up the Kirk Cousins touchdown, points off turnovers. We got 3 minutes and 34 seconds left, live from Las Vegas. Thursday night football. We're here to the end. We'll see what happens in these next 3 minutes and 34 seconds. Either the Falcons are going to kick a game-winning field goal and send the Bucs to the exit, so the Bucs are going to hold on for dear life. Hold on to the bottom of their car seat like their life depends on it, because that's where we are right now. And again, special thank you to Lane Fobbs for joining us tonight. We'll put that as a separate segment on the main channel if you want to go back and watch our college football segment on the college football playoff round 1 games and the bowl predictions, some of the bowl predictions for sure. We'll post that by tomorrow. Again, thank you all for being here. And again, whether you're watching this live or in record session, we appreciate that. We'll be here to the end, Tom, and hopefully we have a game-winning field goal attempt by the Falcons, at least, whether they make it or not. That's what I'm hoping for, obviously. But listen, the reality of what it comes down to at the end of the day is all Baker needs to do is get a couple first downs, and that's going to make it tough for the Falcons, obviously. That's basically where we are on this one. Let me check on that. That's what I was just about to look at, honestly. Just give me a moment. Well, so the Falcons have all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. So the Bucs have to get at least 2 or 3 first downs to get this over with. So they're going to have to decide whether they want to pass or run here. I mean, I know that you try to run to get the first downs, but I think you got to be a little more aggressive here, no? I feel like you got to be a little more aggressive. The thing is that, yeah, his last pass was an interception, but that doesn't mean he can't convert and get it back together. He's an NFL quarterback, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, Atlanta doesn't have to onside kick here if they don't want to, obviously. They can go right ahead and just, kick it down there or whatever. So let's see what they end up doing here. Yeah, it looks like that there is going to be no onside kick. Atlanta is going to kick it deep here. Nobody minds you, Tom. Everyone's happy that you're here. That's for sure. Christian XC1 review in Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. Listen, again, you're a Las Vegas, long-time Las Vegan. We've been here forever. If you want to watch some of the rodeo for the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas, and if you want to ride a horse or ride a bull, that's on you, of course. I won't judge you if you want to be Double J, Jeff Jarrett, or Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, for a week. I don't, or for a weekend, or for a live. I won't judge one bit. Or Dr. Death, Steve Williams, Cowboy Bob Orton, Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., Bob Orton Sr., Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., right? So. Three minutes and 1 second, second and 4 after the first play. Atlanta is opting not to use their timeouts yet. It's going to be 3rd down here. 3rd down. Now Atlanta will use one of their timeouts. All right, this is a crucial one here. If Atlanta is able to stop Tampa Bay, they're going to have 1 timeout in the 2-minute warning at the worst case scenario. If Tampa Bay throws an incomplete pass, they'll have 2 timeouts in the 2-minute warning, which is basically a full game set. If Tampa Bay gets the first down here, then you've got 3 timeouts. So because you got the 2-minute warning as well. So you have to take the timeout before the 2-minute warning. And then have to take the other timeout before the 2-minute warning, right? So there you go. Yeah, I'm not getting on the bull either. Don't worry about that. Do not worry. I don't want to be near the bull, let alone be on it. 3rd and 3, Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Let's see if Tampa Bay can extend this drive, or is Tampa Bay going to get the ball back and have a chance to kick a game-winning field goal? Tampa Bay will get the first down and stay in bounds. And I think if you're Atlanta, you're calling timeout, which you are. Atlanta calls timeout. Okay, so Atlanta has one timeout left now in the 2-minute warning. They're going to have to call that timeout again. That would be first. Then you get the 2-minute warning. That would be second. Then you'd be third with 2 minutes left potentially. So you get one more timeout and this game is pretty much over. Atlanta needs to find a way to stop them now. Mike Evans finally having a blowout game this year. That's for sure. See if Atlanta down 2 points, fourth quarter can come up with something. Again, I think you go back to the running here. You know, that's probably what's going to happen, I imagine. It is, and they're going to be tackled in the backfield. And that timeout is going to happen immediately. Okay, so Atlanta has no timeouts left now. Looking at like 2nd and 12 for Tampa Bay. The 2-minute warning will be next if they run here. You know, obviously. You know, 2nd and 14, not great, right? Tampa Bay can't run the game and can't end this on 2 runs. They've got to get the first down one more time at least. Atlanta's able to stop them here. Then you're at the 2-minute warning. I just can't imagine. Again, I'm sure Tampa Bay is going to run it, but you're only netting 24 seconds here. Tampa Bay's got a chance. Atlanta's got a chance to get the ball back with about 1:10 to 1:15 seconds left if all this goes well, if the clock is running on both plays. Baker's in the backfield here. He's going to pass, and it's incomplete. And that's just going to save the Buccaneers, that saved the Falcons an opportunity now. So now they got the 2-minute warning. 3rd and 14. What do you do now if you're Tampa? You're only going to net 20 seconds again if you do a running play here and you don't get the first down or a short pass in the middle of the field. You give Atlanta a full 2 minutes. I think that was a risky play call, throwing there on 2nd and 14. Maybe you run it, you get 6 yards. It's 3rd and 8 at the 2-minute warning. But now you've given the Atlanta Falcons at least an extra 40 seconds here at the end of this game. At least an extra 40 seconds. Pretty incredible. I don't know about that play again. I really don't like that call. You know, timeout has been taken by Tampa Bay to figure out what they want to do here on 3rd down and 14. Not a great series though for the Bucs here. Tackle in the backfield, incomplete pass. You give the Falcons some more time, obviously, by not doing that. So let's see. Falcons bring the rush, and the Falcons sack and get to Baker Mayfield. They do not get the ball, but 4th down, sack, 2 minutes left. We're going to the TV timeout. The Falcons have stopped Baker Mayfield. They will have 2 full minutes to run a 2-minute drive and kick a game-winning field goal. Kirk Cousins getting ready on the sidelines. We're here. We have great Thursday night football drama here from Las Vegas, watching this one in the real time. Thursday night football, 2 minutes left. Tampa Bay 28, Atlanta 26. Can the Falcons, with 4 wins, beat the 7-6 Buccaneers? Again, Tampa Bay playing another close game against a team with less than 5 victories in the NFL. Barely beat the Cardinals, lose to the 3-win Saints. About to punt that ball back to the Falcons. They're leading by 2. The Falcons, again, are 4-9 on the NFL season, and they are playing to the end here, hoping to beat and upset the Buccaneers tonight on Thursday night football. Game is in Tampa Bay, Florida. Here we're watching, of course, from Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. Again, we thank you whether you're watching in real time or in the live. 4th and 14. Here comes the punt. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to take a page of the Tom's playbook. There are no defensive penalties on a punt. And the most important play at the special teams play of the entire game, Atlanta Falcons special teams. There are no penalties. No penalties. Doesn't look like there's going to be anything but potentially block in the backfield. Okay, Atlanta returns, and Atlanta will have the ball at about their own 32-yard line. Not bad field position. 1 minute and 49 seconds left. 1 minute, 49 seconds left. Tampa Bay 28, Atlanta 26. Atlanta can, again, they don't have any timeouts remaining, so you got to throw all the way down here. An interception or a turnover is going to end this game. Turnover on downs is going to end this game. See if Atlanta can keep this one interesting, at least to the end here. Again, 30-yard line approximately. Here we go. Wide open. Wide open, first down, Atlanta Falcons. They're at approximately their own 47-yard line. Move the chains, 1 minute, 44 seconds left. The fact that Atlanta even has a chance to win this game, again, doesn't give me much hope for Tampa Bay in the playoffs. Again, I think they're one and done if they get there. Not a great effort. Again, I know it's Thursday night football. You have less days to prepare, but the fact that Atlanta even has a chance to win this game is pretty incredible in itself. And Tampa Bay gets to Kirk Cousins in the backfield. There might be a fumble on the play. No, let's take a look. Nope, Atlanta's got the ball. The refs are still debating. Atlanta, second down. After the sack. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense gets to Kirk Cousins here. The ball did fumble, but they're saying Atlanta still has it, so we continue on. But Atlanta lost a bunch of yards on that first down there, unfortunately, after Kirk Cousins fumbled the ball. So going to have to come up with something. 2nd and 18 now. Clock is going to start now. 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Let's see what Cousins can do here. Incomplete pass. 3rd and 18 coming up for the Falcons. Got 2 plays, and there's a penalty flag on the play, though. Let's see what the penalty flag is. Penalty flag is going to be on Atlanta. They're going to repeat second. They're going to repeat second down here. It's going to be 2nd and forever now for the Atlanta Falcons offense. Going to have to throw some long ones here if you're Kirk Cousins. 2nd and 28 on a holding penalty. Falcons have been pushed back all the way back. 2nd and 28. Penalties and yards. 19 penalties for 124 yards tonight by the Atlanta Falcons. Not great. And that's why you have 4 wins instead of 9 wins, and you're 4-9 instead of 9-4. Falcons are all the way back at their 30 after that one. 2nd and 28 here. See what Cousins can do. Incomplete pass just below the wide receiver there. Would have been a great 20-yard pass. 3rd and 28 now for the Falcons. Can the Falcons get either 29 yards or a defensive penalty on these next 2 plays to hopefully bail them out here? Still a lot of time left, minute 20 seconds. So time is not the issue. The issue is that can the Falcons find a way to get that first down? 3rd and 28 here, 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Cousins is going to throw over the middle here, which isn't a bad strategy. And there's going to be like a 4th and maybe 12. 4th and 11. 1 minute clock is ticking here. 4th and 14. Hey, you got half of it back. This is actually a potentially possible winner here. 4th and 14 for the Falcons against the Bucs here. This is it. This is the game right here, ladies and gentlemen. 50 seconds remaining. He caught it. He caught it. First down, Falcons inside the Tampa Bay 41. They are hurrying to the line, ladies and gentlemen. They're at like the 36-yard line. Cousins spikes the football. The Falcons are going to have a chance to at least kick a game-winning field goal here. What a pass. 2 plays, 3rd and 28. You get more than 28 yards on 2 plays. So, unbelievable. There's a penalty flag on the play now. What's the penalty flag after the first down here? Sideline warning, I guess, on the sideline warning on the or chop block. I think it's a sideline warning on the Buccaneers. That's going to be a flag, which is going to give the Falcons, I believe, 5 more yards. The Falcons are going to absolutely have a chance to kick a game-winning field goal here. Zane Gonzalez is 8 for 13 on the season for the Atlanta Falcons. Watching here from Las Vegas, a lot of drama. I know there's people watching across the resorts and across the valley right now who are amazed at the ending of this Thursday night football game. 1st and 5 for the Falcons. They're at the 31-yard line of Tampa Bay. There's a pass that's complete. He's going to get out of bounds. It's going to be close to the first down. 24 seconds now for the Falcons. I think a game-winning field goal is coming for the Falcons here, it looks like. Falcons got to get their team on the field. They just rushed it. There's 17 seconds. They're going to probably spike the ball here, I imagine, before they kick the game-winning field goal. And it looks like they're going to. Cousins, better hurry. Do this correctly. 4 seconds left. We're looking at a 42-yard field goal attempt for the Atlanta Falcons. Zane Gonzalez is coming onto the field to kick a game-winning field goal for the Bucs. I believe the Bucs have a couple timeouts left, so they may attempt to ice the kicker here. We'll see. We got a good one tonight, Thursday night football. Better than expected. Game-winning field goal coming up, 4 seconds remaining. Can the Atlanta Falcons at 4-9 upset the 7-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Here we go. Here we go. 43-yard field goal attempt in Tampa Bay for everything. We'll see. And Tampa Bay does call the timeout, as I expected. I knew that Tampa Bay would end up calling that timeout. There was no way they were just going to let him kick the ball. They're going to ice the kicker. They're going to absolutely ice the kicker. That is Tampa Bay's second timeout, by the way, for the record. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Potentially. I think they can use the last timeout if they want to, I believe. See if they do. Here we go. 43-yard field goal attempt for the Atlanta Falcons. Kick is up. That's going to be good. And the Atlanta Falcons, the 4-9 Atlanta Falcons, have upset the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 29-28 final score Thursday night football. Again, we'll put that in the chat right now. Final score, Atlanta 29, Tampa Bay 28. You know, and my final analysis on this again is that Tampa Bay barely beats Arizona a couple weeks ago, loses to the 3-win New Orleans Saints, and then they lose tonight to the 4-9 Atlanta Falcons, who are now 5-9. And I guess mathematically speaking, I don't know all the tiebreakers. Atlanta's still mathematically alive in the NFC South, though obviously Carolina wins this weekend. That'll make it much more difficult. Carolina the whole point now is to the Carolina Panthers. I have to tell you, after the Atlanta Falcons upsetting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tonight, 29-28 in Tampa Bay. Nice to see again a team still playing, even though such. Tampa Bay, you make the playoffs, you're out in the first round. I'm sorry, they're not playing well right now. They just don't have it. And Carolina, who has had a great NFL season, they need to win this weekend. If they win this weekend, they'll be first in the NFC South. Carolina must win on the road at New Orleans. It will not be easy. The Saints have 3 wins, but they just beat the Bucs. They beat the Panthers earlier in the year at home, I believe, 17-7. It's going to be a tough game for Carolina, but if Carolina can win, they'll be ahead. They'll have a little breathing room in that regard. They will have a little bit of a breathing room. So, this is going to be an interesting next 3 weeks because I think irrespective of whatever happens this weekend, again, they'll still be tied. The next 3 weeks in the NFC South beyond this week, no matter if Carolina wins or not, are going to be exciting. And it's going to be an interesting, exciting race to the finish in the NFC South. Final score on Thursday Night Football tonight. The Atlanta Falcons 4-9 improved to 5-9 in the season, upset the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 29-28. I'm Chris Yannick for C1 Interview in Las Vegas. I want to thank Lane Dobbs of Bearcat Bites doing our weekly college football segment. On this YouTube Live tonight, we'll post it again in a separate segment on the main channel. Go over and watch our interview with the great actress Allison Arngrim of Little House on the Prairie. That's out for 1 hour. We put that out yesterday. Additionally, we'll be back Sunday, 10 a.m. Las Vegas time for our weekly NFL Live reaction show. We're also going to do the recap show earlier this week on Sunday. I'll tell you the time on Sunday in the first video. And of course, also go over the main channel, watch all the stuff. Whether you're watching this live or you're watching this in the recorded, thank you so much for joining our special edition of C1 Interview Thursday night NFL Live reaction. Upset of the night, upset of the week to start with. That's why we play all the NFL games. The Atlanta Falcons 4-9 upset the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 29-28. And my final analysis is that you're winning 28-14 in the fourth. You give up 15 points. I mean, not a great finish for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, you're 3rd and 28. You're 3rd and 28. So I think the reality of what it comes down to at the end of the day is, let me just tell you, Tampa Bay not looking great. I've said this all night in this live. I've said it for the last couple of weeks. Tampa Bay does not look great. Carolina's got all the opportunities in the world ahead of them. I hope they make the playoffs. Carolina take advantage on Sunday. We'll be watching it against the New Orleans Saints. Looking forward, of course, to Buffalo, New England as well. That's going to be great. And as I said earlier, Chicago Bears, you better beat the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. That is a game you cannot afford to lose. Name cannot afford to lose. In Jacksonville against the Jets, Jacksonville, you can't afford to lose that game either. Baltimore against Cincinnati should be a great game. That should be an absolutely great game on Sunday as well. Buffalo and New England will be too. I'm Chris Yannick, C1 Interview from the greatest and most exciting city in the world, Las Vegas. No problem, Tom. We know that. Remember, Carolina and Tampa Bay play twice, but it's going to be hard for them to get in, but they're still, I guess, mathematically alive in some circumstance. We've got to look up that scenario as well. But congrats to the Falcons, 29-28 victors on Thursday Night Football in Las Vegas. Thank you so much. I'm Chris Yannick. We'll see you on Sunday. Have a great rest of your week. Good night.